Testing, 1, 2, 3. Are we live? Is this thing on? Hello? Can anyone hear me? All right, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Today, we're going to be talking about Expedition 33 while playing it. It might talk about other things too, who knows? Depends on how many people show up. I'm still a very small streamer. I once upon a time, long ago in a land far, far away, had a total of 180 some people, almost 190, watching me live stream on Twitch. But that was the olden days. Those were the olden days where I was more popular and was streaming almost exclusively Dark Souls content. People even came to watch me bitch and complain about how bad Dark Souls 2 is. Some disagreed, but most people understood that it is quite the shame that Dark Souls 2 is what it is. But, you know, whatever. If you like Dark Souls 2, I'm not going to stop you. I wouldn't if I could. But if I could have stopped Tanimura from making it, I definitely would have. Though, not through any means that could be considered illegal, immoral, or otherwise inappropriate. Because nowadays, the left-wing wokies have created an environment in which we have to take into account that if you say something, it could be interpreted the wrong way, because that's how a lefty would interpret it, because that's how they think. All right, looks like our desktop audio is good. Looks like our microphone audio is good. When I watch these streams after the fact, it always seems a bit quiet, but you know how it goes. This is the true Expedition. So, this is the Yorha edition of the Expedition. Obviously, I have some mods installed. This is not how the characters would normally look. I'd love to play this in DLAA. Let me give that a shot. I installed this mod that's supposed to make the game run a little better. I don't have high hopes for DLAA maintaining 60 at all times or above. I don't have high hopes for it. We may try it. I really don't want to do frame gen because that just introduces more bullshit. Yeah, look at that. We're already in the 40s. Man, this game's like me. It's in the 40s. Oh, hit the right button. Hit the right button, Fox. You can do it. I wish there was something between 100% and 66.7, but then again, it's an issue of you don't want to upscale from certain resolutions that aren't a good, like, kind of a multiplication match of the higher resolution you're going to use. We turned off all this post-processing nonsense that they like to fill games up with that do nothing more than blur and obscure your view of the game. Obscure. The last thing you want is Claire obscured Expedition 33, where you can't see much because it's all blurry from motion blur. It's got this shitty grain, film grain effect. The chromatic aberration messes up the edges and how it distorts kind of the edge and the lighting. And then the vignette just darkens all the edges so you can't see the edges as well. This isn't a movie, people. Come on now. This is not a movie. You know, motion blur, film grain, vignette, that's all crap you put in movies. The experience of watching a movie is vastly different from the experience of playing a game. Biggest factor is, of course, gameplay and the fact that you give input. It's just not the same. All right, so did we change anything? Did we? Yeah, we did. We backed off of that DLAA because, as much as I hate upscaling, this game is not properly optimized. Let's just kill these guys real quick. I'm going to start a new game in New Game Plus. We're still an actual new game. I haven't gone to New Game Plus, but we're just going to do this real quick just for funsies. I think that's what the kids today... Isn't that what the kids today say? Funsies? All right. So what we'll do is take out these little guys. Now, I've got a whole bunch of Pictos and Lumina stacked up to make this the ultimate shooting expedition. All 5 of the characters are stacked on Lumina to maximize the benefit of shooting. Woo! Got it. There's actually an ability when you shoot to sometimes get AP back. I also put in a bunch of other things where if you shoot a target that's burning, you can get AP back, action points. And so I've set it up to where, depending on how it goes, it can almost feel like you have an unlimited number of shots. But it doesn't always work out that way. At least, I don't think so. I just got this set up together. I was playing around with it. I'm sure it's not the most ideal setup for the Pew Pew, but it's good enough, I think. We'll see if we can do it. Here we go. New Game Plus. I'm losing access to the world. I've been exploring this world for days after beating the final boss, and I've pretty much gotten everything there is to get in the game, other than a few like the records and expedition journals. But I got all those the first time around. This is my second save file. The first save file I played through 3 times, and this one I played through once. We are now going to go to New Game Plus. Plus what? Plus something. I don't know. Yeah, they're just, everything's harder. There's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm going to leave it be. Today, our drink of choice is a nice soft drink, appropriate even for children. A nice Zevia caffeine-free cola. I don't mind caffeine. I just don't want it this late in the day. And believe it or not, the caffeinated cola of Zevia tastes very different than the caffeine-free. And I'm pretty sure caffeine has very little taste. So I think they use 2 different formulas. One for the caffeine one, caffeinated, and one for the caffeine-free. Let me just say, the music in this game, incredible. We're not going to watch the full cutscene, but the music, absolutely amazing. If you don't think it sounds good, give it a chance in the context of the game, and I think you will like it. Cutscenes just don't make for the best viewing, so we'll skip those. It's not very important. And then what we'll do is pick up this flower. It asks if you want to take it. If you say no, you can turn around and yeah.
You're not going to make a big impression. Come on.
Yeah, you have to take it. So that's just the way it is. You have no option. You have an option, but you don't. All right, and then because we're live streaming this, let me do this. Let me turn off the preview. That might help with the performance here. And then I may go ahead and bump some of these down in the hopes that it will possibly help with the performance. Let's see if that works. I found it doesn't make a big difference, but oh yeah, that made a big difference there. Yeah, so basically, even though you're not supposed to have all your characters right now, they let you play through using any of the characters here. But just for consistency's sake, we'll stick with Gustav.
I'll accompany you there.
When you go through New Game Plus, you have access to all the characters, even at points in the story when you're not supposed to. But they don't talk, they don't interact story-wise. They're just available for combat. All right, here we go. Grappling Expedition. The grappling effect, I think, is a very clever way to disguise the brief transitions and loading of data. Even though it only takes a couple seconds to complete the grapple, sometimes all the developers need is a couple seconds to load in assets. If you didn't know, Metroid Prime had an issue where they had to load assets in. And his hair looks messed up a bit. I got rid of the fog effect in the game. Now we're noticing some glitching. I think I'm going to get rid of this mod that's meant to improve performance. I think that may be causing the slight difference there. I also disabled fog through a mod. And yeah, we're getting rid of that mod. It's making stuff flicker. We don't need that nonsense. All right, let's do Lumiere Assault. I got to remember the timings on these things. It shouldn't be hard. Take that, Mael. She's like a daughter to him. I don't have a... Well...
Now, don't you feel better?
Yeah, let's get rid of this mod.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. Alright, I'm going to quit out, since that mod is making everything act weird. And then, what we're going to do is uninstall it. It's a very easy process. Just delete a few files, and we're good to go. Expedition 33, Sandfall, Content, Packs, Tilde Mods. and the mod is called... I got a bunch of mods installed. I've got the 2B mods, the Yorha mods. I disabled the lyrics from the instrumental music in the overworld. I also turn off SKA's sounds that he's constantly making while moving around. I installed a mini-map for the first time. I got rid of the blood and dirt effect on the characters. I also, I think, let me see if I can find it. I also put a mod in that gets rid of the inverted color effect because it makes the characters basically turn black and white while they're inverted, which is for 3 turns. And I usually kill most enemies in less than 3 turns, so I never get to see what my characters should look like while they're in battle. All right,
let's go.
Here we go.
I'll accompany you there. Are you ready to see her again?
Yeah.
This is not weird
Been ready.
that I'm playing as this character because it's not actually Mael. You see, Mael has been replaced with 2B. And that's always the question. Anytime you play a game that has a female character on PC, you always ask yourself one question. Mods, 2B or not 2B? That is the question. So the question there is, do I install a mod to make the female character 2B, or do I leave the main character as is, or do I just install a bustier mod?
Thanks.
She's popular. I'm sure she already has.
Gotta mod your games, guys. What's the point of playing on PC if you don't mod? Oh, looks like it didn't save our combat, so we will engage.
All right.
Now, for story-based battles, you have to use the character that's preset. But if it's just a normal fight in New Game Plus, you can use any of the characters, even though they're not technically supposed to be with your party at that time. But if it's a story-based battle, they choose the characters for you, regardless. Goodbye, Mael. My daughter, my one and only adopted.
Don't you? All right. Now.
If you win that, you'll get a color of Lumina, which allows you to use that on a character. Expands their total Lumina so that they can equip more Lumina. You need Lumina points to upgrade. Well, actually, I can't even get into the menu yet. I'll show you later. But you use the Pictos. You equip those like an item. And then after 4 battles, you learn the Pictos as a Lumina. And now it's permanently available for all of your characters to slot in as long as they have the Lumina points for it. And you gain Lumina points while playing. And if you get a color of Lumina, then you can assign that to whichever character you choose. By the way, most people think that there are a total of 6 playable characters in the game. You've got Gustav, Mael, Lune, Ciel, Verso, and Monoko, right? 6. Well, technically, I'm going to be pedantic and technical. Technically, there are 7 playable characters because take a look. Who am I playing as right now? That's right. I'm playing as Sophie. Sophie is technically a playable character. By the way, if you've ever wondered, no, you cannot go back up that rope after you come down. So you can't take Sophie up on the rooftops. Now, you may be asking, how would one go about getting an upskirt shot of Sophie? Since this is the Gooner Brigade, we have to talk about Gooner things, even if we don't feel like it. So the way to get an upskirt shot, which is, you know, it's nothing. She's just wearing like black panties. You have to get up on something. Let me see if I can get up on this. And then hop off enough to where she rolls. And you'll get your little upskirt shot as she rolls, guys. There you go. We're going to shoot this guy. Oh, she can't do the Lumiere, that paint shot, whatever they call that thing. I've never known what the paint shot was actually called. This area here will tend to drop your frame rate pretty bad because it is densely packed with modeled characters. And many of them can be conversed with. Most cannot, but some can. And this is one of the only places where there's an interaction point kind of in the middle of nowhere with nothing around it. And it's just meant to tell you what's happening. That rarely happens in the game. I think, as far as I know, it only happens like twice, 2 or 3 times, and it's here in the opening segment in Lumiere. If you play the piano, depending on what character you choose, you get a different play style. Now we're going to go to Gustav. Now we'll go to Mael. This one, well, that was Lune. This is Mael. And then finally, CL. Whoa. CL sounds like a legit song. You have to keep hitting the E key. Or whatever key on your lame-ass controller. Are you one of those loser controller players? No, I'm kidding. I got my controller right here. I bought that $200 Wolverine V3 Pro wireless controller. Why? Because I love controllers. I love mouse and keyboard. I love it all. Why limit yourself, right? Let's see if we can get high enough to make her roll. It's really not very exciting when she does roll. Whatever, we can do it more easily somewhere else. There are a lot of little hidden things throughout here. There are characters you can talk to. There's even a little quest. Some people left their furniture. Sophie and Gustav examine the stuff left behind. Oh, somebody left a color of Lumina. I'm not sure I've ever gotten that. I probably did get that in one of my previous 4 playthroughs, but if not, hey. There's so much stuff sort of hidden in plain sight. These areas can be very densely packed. I always tell her to color it. Add color to it. Then you get Sophie's name placed on it. She made a sculpture, and she wants to know what she should do to make it better. Color it.
My gestural costume is the best. Hey, madame, do you think the gesturals really exist?
Of course they do.
Do the gesturals really exist? Well, we know they do, because we've played this game before.
We're tired. If the legends, that's what. That's thanks.
This is mostly backstory, but like I said, depending on who you talk to, you can actually get some stuff out of this. It's not very important. Usually it's like a color of Lumina, or there's a spot where you can get, I think, a hairstyle, unlock a hairstyle. So don't worry too much if you don't get everything here. By the way, these are called the Life Enjoyers. Okay, so we know what they're doing.
Not everyone attends the Living Wake or goes to the harbour for the gommage. Some prefer more intimate goodbyes.
I think if I were to be gommaged, erased from existence, I'd spend my last moments with my wife in a more intimate environment. That seems like a good use of your last moments on Earth. By the way, you can interact with this thing repeatedly, and I think you have to interact with it 33 times to get the secret. So there's like, I don't know how someone figured that out, because I interacted with it like 5, maybe 10 times and then gave up, figuring, okay, there's nothing there. But you gotta keep listening. Keep listening. It gets very awkward. Keep listening. Don't stop. Keep it going. Stick around. You gotta get off on hearing what they're doing. Now you get this. So they ask you to leave and give you a color of Lumina. A nice reward, but it's not a big deal if you miss it, because later in the game, you actually get to the point where you can farm an endless supply of Lumina.
I have got good luck.
You can beat a group of 3 enemies in one of the hardest areas of the game, and after you defeat them, you'll get 3 color of Lumina each and every time, and they do respawn. You can farm them endlessly. So you could max out your Lumina. I don't know what the max is, but I do know you can go above 500. I went above 500 on some of my characters.
I can't. That's why the Maxine.
I would think maybe the max is 999, but at some point, you're going to have so much Lumina that you couldn't possibly even equip all the Luminas that you have. Lumina points to equip it all. And you wouldn't want to. Some Luminas work against each other. Like some Luminas say you can't be healed, and then some Luminas specialize in healing you. And then some Luminas say that if you're healed, instead of getting health, it'll hurt you. So if you equip those two Lumina together, every time you get healed, it'll harm you. So it'll actually hurt your gameplay, your experience, your combat to equip all the Lumina. You don't ever want to equip all of them. Now, there are a lot that are purely beneficial. Hey, look, it's Lune. She looks like 2B, except she has her own head and hair. That's the way I'd prefer it, honestly. But the way the 2B models have been created, you have to use the head and hair that he provides. If you try using the, like for example, here with Lune, if you try using her regular head and not the 2B head, when you jump, the head will literally like disconnect from the body. It doesn't go together. So it's pretty much unusable. It looks terrible. You don't want to decapitate yourself every single time you jump. Decapitation. Jump to decap.
She looks
I'm just seeing who we can interact with. But, you know, we don't need to interact with anyone here. But we can engage in a little battle for a small reward that we already have. So it's irrelevant. But I think it may end up giving us Chroma instead. If you discover a Pictos that you've already discovered before, it'll give you Chroma in its place. All right. Sophie is going to try to interact with this thing. And then she's going to be like, help! It's attacking me. And this is your first chance to experience a mime character. So it plays some kind of interesting French music, very French. You can hear the accordion and whatnot. And these things almost always give you cosmetics. There are a few that actually will give you something like a Pictos, but the vast majority will give you a cosmetic. And they're usually wearing the cosmetic that they'll give you. So if you see one wearing the French hat, that's what you get. If you see one wearing long, flowing, voluminous hair, that's what you'll get. Let's build up to the full charge. And we are playing mouse and keyboard. I played the game through originally 3 times on gamepad. I tried it a little bit with mouse and keyboard and thought it was a little weird. But then when I forced myself to play with mouse and keyboard, I love it. I prefer it now. For those who come after. And that's it. That would have taken a lot longer if, you know, this wasn't New Game Plus and Gustav wasn't level 99.
That was close. Thanks.
Sophie's like, that was close. It wasn't close.
Did someone...
It wasn't even close to close. I beat the pants off that guy. Oh, this one gives you a record. A music record that you can play at the camp. By the way, you can't get real up close to the stage. That's CL in the front right there. You can't easily get up there, but you can sneak in through the side here and get here. And then if you look up, you can get your Gooner pleasure in and you get your upskirt shot of CL. You're welcome, guys. It's not very exciting, who cares? But this wouldn't be the Gaming, Grifting, and Gooning Brigade if I didn't show you how to goon a little bit from time to time. All right, what we really want to do is get to the action. All this story stuff this is good to experience on your own, but it's not the best for live streaming. It's more fun to see the action, the combat, the fighting.
I see you're...
Yep, Sophie dies. Let's do this. Let's send out another notification that I'm live. But for this one, we're going to try doing that thing where you put the link in the reply so it doesn't deboost you. Because it loves to deboost your tweet if you're posting a direct link. And then I will attach the thumbnail to draw attention. And I'm trying to get everyone to go to YouTube, but I am still dual streaming to Twitch, multi-streaming. All right, she dies. It's very sad. You're supposed to cry. It's okay as a man to cry while playing Expedition 33. I didn't, just because I pretty much never cry. I pretty much never cry as an adult. I can't think of any time I've cried as an adult in the last, I don't know, 20, 30 years. Maybe there was a time. I'm sure there was. I just can't think of it. Didn't have any dog deaths. The only dog I had that died years after my ex-wife got the dog in the divorce, so, you know. And really, she was always my ex-wife's dog, not so much, not really mine.
Looks a bit rough.
I've been working.
It's sure.
Great.
Call it more.
We'll use the only token we have to get that Pictos. And then we're not going to worry about all these tokens. There's CL. As you can see, she's wearing her normal Expeditioner outfit. And you'll notice the head doesn't fit because the game isn't putting the modded head on because we haven't selected it. And you're not able to until you get them in your party. You'll notice Mael is wearing her normal Expeditioner outfit. But we don't care. We are going to progress this forward. Let's go talk to Mael, who looks... Yep, she just looks the way she always looks. That's Mael, normal Mael right there.
More ready to go than you are.
Yeah. Look, I know
We're going to skip through this so we can get to the action. You guys want to see fighting. And the fighting in this will be only shooting, free aim. No skills, no base attacks, no counter attacks, free aim shots only. Let's see how far we can get.
Yeah, besides,
Right.
sure.
Doubly lucky.
All right.
Oh no.
You're this time.
People popping in, staying for a moment, and then popping out. The biggest problem with being a small streamer or trying to rebuild your streaming audience is when people go to a stream, they generally want to see other people at the stream, and if no one else is there, then they just kind of pop out. And I don't blame them. I've done the same thing myself. If I go to a stream and there's nobody else there, or there's only one or two people, I might just be like, oh, this must not be a good stream. But we must change the way we think about it. Instead, think about it as this is an undiscovered streamer right here. No one's discovered this amazing guy. All right, where am I supposed to go now? I'm supposed to go talk to somebody.
I'm pacing.
Not him.
I like that you.
They are trying to convince you to drink, though. Though I suppose if you or your loved ones fade out of existence, you might want to drink something.
Caution. Money's not because.
That guy's useless. But there is this guy that you can get a token from. This guy has not heard of Rogaine. I would like to introduce him to Rogaine. He's bald. Like, some of the Wokies have been calling me bald on X or saying that I have a receding hairline, which, I mean, I don't think I do. This is the hairline I've had since, you know, I was a little kid. It hasn't changed, so I don't know. Let's see. When did our world break apart and the luminous city get thrown into the middle of the ocean? 67 years ago.
Brilliant.
What are you talking?
All right. Which was the
First expedition was 0.
Expeditions?
correct? What is?
Abilities you internalize by using a Pictos.
Well done.
Not really. You big.
And then you get a token. The good news is you can try that as many times as you want. So you don't have to worry about it. Now you can talk to these two and use your tokens, but I already have everything they offer. Yes. Give me the item. An old key. Though you may need that old key again. The old key, I don't think you keep it in your inventory. You might, but might not.
I can't believe. Is that the?
Theoretically, so much.
I trust your cup.
Ah, Lune. She looks like typical Lune wearing
It's
her
a good
normal
start.
outfit.
You need a drink.
Go away.
Gustav, we got something for you.
You got to talk to these kids because you have to get the journal. And it lingers on that journal for way longer than it needs to. Like, that wasn't me waiting to skip it. That's the game forcing you to look at the journal for that long.
Andrea.
I'll use everything you taught us, Monsieur G.
By the way, you want to see the mouse I'm using? It's pretty wild. It's basically a Commodore 64 looking mouse, even though the Commodore 64 never had a mouse. And it has literal keyboard keys for buttons. The mouse buttons are keyboard keys. You can actually pull them out and swap them if you want to.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. It's like clicking a keyboard
My
key
darling sister has a
on your
crazy
mouse.
thing. She'll kill me if I don't say goodbye.
Ready for...
Yeah. What about you?
I've already clicked.
A view of...
She won't be...
If we fed.
When one falls...
So there were a few people on X that got kind of worked up over how multicultural Lumiere is, because it's supposed to be based on Belle Epoque, France. However, it's a fictional version. There's no explanation ever given for why the area is so multicultural. It's not a big deal. I did mention, yes, it seems a little out of place, and it's probably maybe a concern that they didn't want to make a game with all white people because then they'd be attacked by the left. Maybe. I don't know. It's not really a big deal and not something I think we should really focus on. It would take away from the game itself to obsess over such a minor point. It's not like they took an already existing character and race swapped them, or took an existing character and gender swapped them or something like that. I think those are a much bigger deal because that's a very obvious intentional act that is almost certainly derived from wokeism or ESG or whatnot, DEI nonsense. So this is a really cool cutscene. We're not going to watch it, but you should definitely watch it if you play the game. Almost all the cutscenes are worth watching. Some of them are a little more just sort of like jovial and silly and not absolutely necessary for the plot. Many of them are optional. You can find a lot of optional cutscenes in the game. All right, the ship lands. Everyone gets attacked. It looks like everyone is killed. Gustav is attacked, and then boom. By the way, check it out. Right off the bat, there's a item hidden in plain sight. The more you go off the beaten path, the more you'll find. For example, if a game starts you out in an area and you can see that it goes back behind you, it's usually a good idea to check. Most games don't put anything there. It's just a backdrop. You end up just wasting your time, but some games reward you. That mini-map you see in the upper right corner is not a normal part of the game. It's a mod, and it's pretty good. I like it. I did not use it my first 4 playthroughs. Yes, this is my 5th playthrough, but it's nice to have it. By the way, you can slow walk these characters if you want to. Then you can run, but you can run at a normal pace. You can slow walk by hitting the control on the keyboard. It's a little different than on the gamepad. On the gamepad, the difference between slow walk and normal kind of run is just pushing the analog stick, and then there's a button for sprinting. So I think it's cool that they included a key that allows you to slow walk with mouse and keyboard controls if you want to. All right, I realized something. We did fight the last 2 battles, but I think we had to. I'm supposed to be only shooting, but you know. So let's see. This shouldn't be too tough, as long as all of his Lumina are equipped, and we will double check. We're gonna skip most of the cutscenes, guys. All right. Let me know if you're out there in the chat. And I think we are able to play as whoever we want, even though technically at this point in the story, they're not there. Like, none of these characters would be here except for Gustav. However, because this is a New Game Plus, you're allowed to play as any of the characters you want to. Verso is not here yet. There's a reason for that. If you played this game or if you've watched someone play it all the way through, you know why. I'm not going to mention why. But at certain points, characters will part ways, sometimes come back, and that's just the way it is. So you don't have all the characters from the start on regular New Game. Right now, it would only be Gustav. But because we're in New Game Plus, we have all the characters. I kind of like Lune the most for exploration because she's the quietest. She only makes sounds if like she jumps or falls. The other characters, you can hear they're running and huffing as they run. Since Lune is floating, she doesn't like huff and breathe hard. She just is quiet. It's just a very quiet travel. No footsteps, no huffing, no breathing. Almost a little unnatural, but I guess if you are just gliding, probably wouldn't be wasting any energy. This is where Lune shows up in a new game. Get that nice little slow walk going. The mods are not perfect. Sometimes there's a little bit of clipping with the character mods, but it's not a big deal. It looks like kind of normal clipping you'd see, you know, in a lot of games. Remember the rule. The rule here is we only shoot. No skills, no counterattacks, no jump counterattacks. We want to do all of our damage through shooting and the benefits from shooting, which may include putting a fire effect on them. I'm including that because that's part of the shot. It can put the fire effect on them. I know some people might consider that deviating because then that generates fire damage on turn start for that enemy, but that was a result of the shot that I made, so I consider it valid. If I can shoot the character and put a fire or burn stack on them, that counts. That's all I'm doing is shooting. The burn stack is a result of the shot, guys. I will say this was an incredible experience my first time through the game in Spring Meadows. Really amazing looking area, and the music is like really calm and relaxing and serene, and in total contrast to the fact that every other expeditioner you were with just got slaughtered. We could probably upgrade our attributes. We got a few more Lumina. Oh, we can't use Lumina while we're here. That's right. We got to do it at the camp. But we don't need any more Lumina points. We pretty much got everything equipped we need. There may be some things we'll want, but we'll see. I might optimize the build, but again, we're only shooting. Only free aim shots. Whoops. I should have slowed that down. I missed. She's got a weapon that allows her hits to hit another one. So hitting one will hit another enemy. So you hit one enemy and it hits another enemy, chosen at random. So if there are 3 enemies and you shoot at one of those other 2 will take another hit, but you don't get to decide which one. We can swing up here for some chroma. We don't need it. There's really nothing we need to buy. However, we will buy most of the Lumina, color of Lumina that we find. Raider of the Cosmos, welcome, my friend. How's it going? Yes, we have some mods installed. This is also the Gooner Expedition. How you get HP past 9,999. So when it comes to hit points, don't worry about Vitality. Vitality is not an important stat. Agility is the #1 most important stat. That determines if you even get a turn. Do Agility, do the 2 stats that cover your weapon's damage scaling, ignore Vitality, and put on Pictos. None of my characters' stats are modded. The mods are thank you for joining. Sub to the G3 Brigade, Raider of the Cosmos. Thank you so much. No, none of the stats are modded, only the outfits. All of those stats are regular in-game health and everything. Everything is normal, what you can get without any cheats or mods. No cheats or mods on that. This is a real build. All of these builds were made naturally in the game. The only thing unnatural about the game are my visual mods. And we are only shooting. So, if you have painted power, so if you go in here and you take a look, I have 0 vitality, 0 vitality, 0 vitality, 0 vitality, and he only has 99 vitality because that is a... oh no, actually I need to rework him. He's still got the stats from Verso, but I only put vitality there because that's one of the scaling factors on the weapon. Otherwise, I don't ever spec in vitality. It's a waste. There's no point in doing it. And the reason why is because if I show you this, let me go to Mael, or how about Lune, who's got 14,000 health. Go to your Pictos and take a look at these high-level Pictos. You equip this one, it gives you 4,518 health. This one gives you 7,154 health. You can get all the health you need from Pictos. Just even 1 or 2 is good enough. 3, and you've got an insane amount of health. Vitality doesn't even come close to what you can get from the Pictos. So, if you're worried about health, look at your highest health bonus Pictos. Now, be aware, those Pictos, that Energizing Start gives you 7,154 health. However, if you select Energizing Start as a Lumina, you don't get the health bonus. You only get the effect. If you want the stat bonuses, you have to pick the Pictos. The Pictos have stat bonuses. This one has health and crit. This one has speed. That one has health. That one has health and critical rate. But the Luminas only give you the special effect. No stat bonus.
A house?
Looks abandoned.
We're not going to be collecting everything because I have so much of everything. I don't even need it. All the upgrade materials. I have all my weapons maxed out. Like, take a look. Every one of my weapons is maxed out. I either found a maxed out one or I maxed it out myself. Everything is maxed out. So we really don't need anything. I played the shit out of this game on New Game. This is my second save file. My other save file, I'm on New Game ++. Yes, 499 Lumina. Yeah, so later on in the game, you will encounter some enemies that respawn, and they will drop Color of Lumina for you.
Yeah.
And because they respawn, you can farm them endlessly. There's one group of 3 enemies. They drop 3 Color of Lumina every single time you beat them. And then they respawn. So you can get 3 Color of Lumina every single fight. Let's do that. For some reason, Gustav's health was like 1. I may have some weird like Pictos on him or something that resets his health. But it's not a big deal. We don't plan on getting hit. Yeah, this is New Game Plus. Because as you can see, in regular New Game, it would only be Gustav and in Mael. Or sorry, Lune. It would only be Gustav and Lune. This may be easier than I thought. Because I stacked the shit out of the Lumina. Like, if you look at all of the Lumina I have, accelerating shots, 50% damage first strike, auto powerful, 50% increased free aim damage, 50% increased break damage with shots. Shots can apply burn. If I hit with a burn, it does more damage. Cheater, so I play twice in a row. Take 50% less damage, can't be healed. That's just for fun. Do 30% more damage, can't be healed. I can't heal any of my characters. My characters cannot be healed. The plan is just not to take damage. However, the biggest difference is I have always parried. I pretty much never dodged. I have to relearn how to parry because I was forgetting what the parry key was. Because the dodge key. I only ever parried for counterattacks. So now I have to like get used to hitting the dodge button. By the way, that's a late game enemy right there. I have no idea why it's embedded in the rock here. I'm curious as to why. I don't know. So, yes, Raider of the Cosmos. I'm glad you've come too. I am a small streamer. Once upon a time, I had almost 190 people watching me on Twitch play Dark Souls. But then I kind of took a break and I kind of left for a while and fell off and then changed my content. And so I'm trying to build my audience back up, and it is not easy, man. This is a really, really stacked space to fight for live streams. There's so many live streamers that everyone already knows about. It's hard to get in that space. It's saturated. Live streaming space is saturated with people. Raider of the Cosmos says, you deserve the subs. Thank you for showing your wisdom about this game. Dude, I am currently at... Let me see if I can bring it up. I'm going to bring up my Steam here and look at hours played of this game. Sorry, it's the game is kind of pulling my cursor right now, so it's making it hard for me to get the thing down. Let me have my cursor game. I have over 170 hours played in the game. I played it through 4 times. New game plus, new game plus. Then I started over from scratch on a second save file, and I played that all the way through. And in each one of those runs, I did pretty much everything there is to do. Beat all the bosses, optional, went to all the areas, all the optional content, collected all Pictos, collected all weapons, maxed everything out, maxed the characters to 99, upgraded everything to maximum. I'm crazy about this game. Obsessed would be the proper term. In fact, my wife and I have started watching a YouTube video that is just the cutscenes from this game. And she was very reluctant because she's not a gamer. But afterwards, she just willingly told me. I didn't ask her. She's like, you know, it is kind of interesting. So she is interested in it. That's good. I wasn't sure she would be. But the cutscenes in this game are so good, they've already piqued her interest, and she cares nothing for video games. She hasn't played games since pretty much Super Mario on the NES. She has a special ability where she can hit another character when she hits any character with a free aim. So if she free aim hits an enemy, it will hit another random enemy if there is another one. So she could effectively shoot 2 enemies at once. You just can't choose which one is the second one. Really, we don't need to collect all this shit. How much, yeah. This is what happens when you farm endlessly. I've got like 106 million chroma and really nothing to buy. I already have everything. Yeah, so
Someone came here before and
parrying
set up
is
these
harder,
windows.
but that's what you should focus on, because when you parry and succeed at all the parries, or at least get the gradient parry at the end of the combo, you will get a counterattack. And those counterattacks are super powerful. You could stack Pictos or Lumina to boost the counterattack damage by like 100 and some %, more than doubling the counterattack damage. So counterattacks are how you can do massive damage. Massive damage. In fact, there's a mod where it'll skip all of your character's turns, and you just play through the game doing counterattacks from parries. And it's very easy. Oh, damn it. We don't maintain the ability to break through those. You have to actually go discover the Lost Gestrels. We'll talk to this guy, but really we don't need to do his quest. There's no point. We won't. It's kind of a waste of time at this point. The rewards for all the optional stuff at this point will just be converted to chroma, because I already have it.
Hurry!
And then I have so much chroma, it's not worth anything.
We can use that.
Yeah, the Lumina are very similar to some elements from other RPGs. There is the similarity to Final Fantasy VIII in that you equip the Pictos, you use it in combat, and then you learn it. Or is that more similar to Final Fantasy VII in the... what do they call it in Final Fantasy VII? The little magic orbs you slot in? I can't even think of what they're called.
This will be useful.
You guys know what I'm talking about. What are those things called in Final Fantasy VII? I'm not a big Final Fantasy VII fan. I've tried so many times because so many people love it, and I'm like, well, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I'm the problem. And I try it over and over and over, and I'm just not a... By the way, you can shoot these guys outside of combat. It only has one effect. It slows them down. So if they're chasing you and you want to get away, shoot them, and then you're good. It does not do any damage. So be aware, you're not going to kill them shooting them outside of combat. Materia, that's right. Thank you, Raider of the Cosmos. If anyone else is hanging out, say hi. I'd love to give you a shout out. Man, well, this is the beginning of the game in New Game Plus, so it should be fairly easy. If it ends up being too easy, we might access the damage multiplier if it's still available to us. Although it may not be available. I didn't see it at the flag last time. Cosmo. All right, we'll go with Cosmo. Cosmo Kramer from Seinfeld. If you know Seinfeld, you know the reference. Obviously, these guys have that little weak spot you shoot. And even if you're playing the game normally, shooting the weak spot is always a good idea. Unless you can one-shot them with your normal abilities, shooting the weak spot does massive damage. Like on some of these enemies, hitting their weak spot drains more than half their health. All right, so we got all that. And now what we want to do is go this way. There are a lot of optional areas, even in the mandatory areas. There are little alcoves, there are little paths, there are places to climb, there are grapple points you don't notice at first. There is so much stuff in this game. It's just some of it I like to call it hidden in plain sight. It's not that it's really hidden, It's that it's placed in such a way where if you're not carefully looking, you'll go right on by it.
So much potential.
Cosmo's a cool name. I wouldn't mind having a in real life friend, an IRL friend that I could call Cosmo. We could go to stores and hang out, and or like a bar or something. I'd be like, "Hey, Cosmo, Cosmo," and people would be like, "Oh, his name's Cosmo." All right, let's see if we can jump. All right. Like I said, Lune's the easiest, smoothest experience to play as because she doesn't make any footstep sound effects. She doesn't make the breathing, huffing sound effect. It's just nice and quiet. You can hear the breeze. Beautiful breeze. They give you that amount of experience points right at the start of New Game Plus. Yes, I have not modified anything about the stats in the game. The only thing I've modified are the graphics. Some of the music. I got rid of the lyrical music on the overworld because it gets repetitive. In the character models. Everything else is the way it should be. Want to know something funny? Sure. Lay it on me. On Hogwarts Legacy, I named my first character Cosmo, last name Politan. I love it. One name I've started using from my playthroughs just to be stupid. All right, I got to figure out where to go. That's why I installed the minimap. Sometimes these areas can feel a little bit... not maze-like, but they can be a little bit obscure in exactly where to go. You're not going to get hopelessly lost. By the way, if we want to, we can limit our damage. If you limit yourself to 99,999, that's just going to make every fight take forever. That's way too low in New Game Plus. Way too low, especially towards the end of the game. You can also increase the health of the enemies by ×2, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100... Like, holy shit, 100 times? Imagine fighting the super secret, most difficult hidden boss, and he has 100 times health. How long would that take? How many hours would it take? Hours. Even doing millions of damage. I think the guy has, in New Game, he has around like 56 million hit points or something. I thought that was Gustav the first time I watched this, because it kind of looked like him.
Fuck. It's big.
All right, we're skipping that. She's using foul language. I'm not going to have that. I'm not going to have any fucking swearing. All right. For some reason, Mael went first, even though Lune normally goes first. I love Mael's stances. She looks like a very professional fencer. She's a fencer style. By the way, did you notice me doing damage despite his shields? I have a Lumina equipped that shoots right through that shield. Oh, I ran out. Okay, you may think that was cheating. You may think I did something crazy. How in the hell did I have that many action points? It's all the different Luminas and Pictos I equipped to regenerate or give me back AP for certain things. And also a chance to gain 1 AP on each shot. So it's randomized to a certain degree and depends on numerous factors. Now, at this point, I'm out of AP. I'm just going to have to skip my turn. Because we cannot do anything but shoot. Okay, so now we're finding bosses are going to be a little harder than regular enemies. Skip turn. Because all we're doing is free aiming. So we also have to dodge. And when we jump, we don't counterattack. No counterattacks. Sometimes it puts mark on them. This is pretty fun. And we've turned this into the world's most awkward third-person shooter. It's the only third-person shooter I know of where you can't move. You just stand in place the whole time. Oh boy. Okay, as we get further in the game, I think we're going to find that the health pool of these bosses might start to become an issue. She didn't get as many shots as I'd hoped she would, but that's fine. Skip turn. Ah, I only got the 3 that she had. Nothing procced. There we go. Okay, that was better. Alright, well, at least we get to see what this enemy does. Alright, I gotta remember to dodge. What is dodge? Q. Oh, way too early. Oh, there we go. I literally never dodge. Ever since I started this game, I pretty much only ever parry, so I gotta get used to hitting the dodge key, which is Q on the keyboard. It's pretty fun to just mash the mouse button and shoot him.
Chroma's flowing.
Come on. Oh, she ran out. It's somewhat randomized as to how long you can go because of that 20% chance Pictos Lumina. When I dodge, I get AP back from it. So that's how we can restore AP if we ever get too low. I also have a bunch of energizing start Lumina, so we get a bunch of AP on turn start. So that's how we can solve the problem of not building AP through regular attacks. Okay. And all the weapons I have equipped are specialized for free aim. The characters all have at least one weapon designed for a free aim build. Oh, that one didn't last too long. Notice he's not getting any turns in. He only had one chance to attack us. That's because our agility is so damn high that we go like 3 or 4 times for every one of his turns. And I mean 3 or 4 times for each of my characters. This ain't doing jack shit. I think what I'll have to do is pay attention to what they're weak to and maybe swap out weapons based on the boss. Like if the boss has a weakness to fire, put all fire weapons on my characters. This is just like no damage in terms of New Game Plus. It's fine on the enemies. Oh, wow. That did something. There we go. We broke them. Well, we broke her. I'm assuming it's her. Oh, we're out. Okay. Skip turn. Actually, I should install that mod. No, I can't install the skip turn mod because it wouldn't let me shoot first. I also have Cheater as a mod. It's called Cheater. It's not that I'm cheating. It's called Cheater. Allows you to play twice in a row. That was a good one. That lasted a good while. Sometimes it almost feels like you can shoot an unlimited number of times, but you can't. There is no unlimited. Okay, now I'm getting burn. That burn came from my free aim shot, so I consider that acceptable within our rules.
Let the ink flow.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. I like that. We got quite a few shots out of that. I wasn't counting, but it was good. It looks like CL does not have enough of the energizing start Lumina. I'm gonna have to double check her build. I thought I did it correctly, but she doesn't start with as many action points as she should. Something's going on there. Yes, that was a good one. Still not getting a whole lot of damage here, so this is just gonna be a question of time, you know? This boss would be long since dead if we weren't limited to shooting. Oh. Sometimes it runs out, and then it gives me more right afterwards. I guess something procced after it hit 0. We just got to keep shooting, boys. We're not even at halfway. I don't know. Is this going to be an interesting run? I might be able to do something to enhance damage. Like I said, pick a weapon based on what the enemy's weak to. She's doing void damage. It doesn't say weakness, but I think everything is susceptible to void. I don't know if anything has a specific weakness to void. Oh, he brought in some of his little bitches to fight for him. I don't think so, my friend. Oh. They're, oh shit. They have a shit ton of health. Oh my gosh. It's like they have as much health as the boss. Okay. Oh, she's got nothing. Alright, whatever. This is gonna be interesting. Boy, is this just gonna be a question of time. I'm gonna have to look into maybe another way to enhance the amount of damage I do. If I include counterattacks, I mean, we'll do massive damage. It'll kind of nullify the point of the free aim at that point. Counterattacks are super powerful. Oh boy. Alright, we can do this. Man, this is even with greater powerful. You can see all the Lumina and Pictos that apply stack up on the side of the screen. So, since she'll hit another enemy with her hit, I'll just hit the boss and let one of the other enemies take the collateral damage, being the crossfire. It takes a moment to hold the tab to skip the turn, which is slowing it down a bit. Okay. Well, we get to hear a lot of the music, if nothing else. Thank goodness we have all this agility, but honestly, I think we'd be getting more action points if we could dodge, because I get an action point on dodging. I love seeing it stack up the mark and then the second mark. You get to see it cycle through all the stuff that's proccing. Oh, I do allow item use, although I can't heal. It's so weird to dodge. It feels like a waste because I want to counterattack. I don't normally even see the dodge animation. It just is very different to see dodging instead of parrying. Sounds different, looks different. All right, we're almost halfway. Ladies and gentlemen, we're almost halfway. But the good news is we're gonna break this. We're gonna break this girl. We're gonna break her real soon, hopefully. We're building up that break bar ever so slowly. Okay, we know one thing for sure. We definitely don't need to increase enemy health. We don't need to add any challenges. These bosses are going to have a fuck ton of health, and some of them might be an absolute marathon. Oh, whoops. I dodged way too early. I'm just so not used to dodging. Mael, why'd you run out so fast? There we go. That's the Mael I know. Good girl. Lune is my best at this because she gets to hit the others too. So she's going to be the star player for this, I believe. Oh yeah, that was a good session right there. We're about to break this girl. CL, that was good, CL. Not bad, not bad. You can shoot as fast as you can mash the mouse button. That's freaking awesome. Most games would have like a timer, or you shoot and then wait a second or two and then shoot again, and that's boring. You know what's fun? Being able to shoot as fast as you can mash the button. We're getting some good damage off the fire, the burn proc. But it doesn't happen very often because he doesn't get many turns. My agility is stacked so freaking high that they rarely get a chance to even take a turn.
Let us stay. Chroma's flowing.
We got this. I'm not worried about dying on this one. There are a few bosses that might be able to kill me, but I'm sure I can dodge all their hits. I can pretty much parry everything in the game. The only thing that's not consistent is that super hard secret boss. He is very hard to parry. I can get it some of the time. Some of his moves I get all the time. Other moves I get some of the time. Some moves I rarely get at all. They're very hard. Okay, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong number down there. All right, not bad, Mael. Not bad. You can do better, but that's okay. Well, all right. Can't always be the top at the top of your game. All right, that's good. I'd like to get some more shots out of each turn. Oh, Lune, you only had the 3? Yeah, CL is only starting with 2, so I feel like she needs something else equipped. We're gonna have to give her some more Lumina or switch it out. She should be starting with at least 3 AP. I don't want her limited to 2 shots. That sucks. Oh yeah, there we go, Mael. Keep it going, keep it going. Oh, that burn coming in the clutch moment. The clutch burn. All right, that's how we're building up some AP as well. Whoops. Yeah, I'm so not used to the timing on that. I don't know why I think it's so different. It's not so different. You just hit it at about the same time you did a parry. I gotta stop letting it phase me. Yeah, that time that we have to wait to skip the turn is slowing down the fight quite a bit. Because you gotta hold, in this case it's the tab button on the keyboard. And it's about 3 seconds of holding it. So there's this period where I'm like, looks like I'm doing nothing. Because normally I am flying through combat. Like, I'm hitting all the keys, the buttons, fast. Because I played this game so much, it's just like second nature. Oh, we got a stutter there. The game normally doesn't stutter. It's probably because I'm live streaming and running OBS in multiple windows. Yes, that was a good session there. Let me do this. Let me disable the preview on OBS. And that might speed it up just a bit. Or give it a little more processing power for the... Oh, no, no, no. No skills. Nice try, Fox, but you're not allowed to use those. This is like one of the first... This may actually technically be the first actual boss of the game, and it's taking this long. The issue with this may just be the time factor. But don't you just love seeing all those numbers pop up? That's never not fun to see. I feel like we get through the fight faster if the enemies had more turns because of the damage from the burn. I'm tempted to hit the E key, but I don't want to counterattack. Wouldn't want to have to counterattack. This guy probably would have been dead in 1 shot from Mael. No joke. Like, I could have killed him in probably 1 shot with Mael's Stendhal. Which I like to pronounce Stendhal, just for the hell of it. Instead, it's taking this long by shooting. So I'm noticing something. I'm clicking the button so fast, it kicks me back as if I'm out of AP. And then I get more AP. Because the AP benefit procs from one of my Luminas or Pictos. But it doesn't proc in enough time before the game kicks me back, because I did technically hit 0. And then something procs and then gives me more, and then I can go back in. That's kind of interesting. It seems to only happen with Mael for some reason. Oh, no, look, it happened with Lune. See, it kicked me back like I ran out, but I've actually got 4 more. That's interesting. It's kind of an oversight on the part of the developers. I guess they're not running the proc check before they kick you out of free aim. Although they probably didn't anticipate anyone playing like this, mashing the button this fast. Got a good amount of hits on that one. Oh yeah, quite a few stutters on this. Again, it's because I'm live streaming.
Ready to parry.
It also sounds weird to dodge because I'm so used to the parry sound effect. And it's so cool. The parry sound effect is so cool. I dodged way too early, but it still counted. It's been a while since I went up against that attack. And the amount of damage we do is very random. It depends on if the mark Lumina procs and puts the mark on him or her. I think it's looks like a female. There are several factors that are randomized, such as the amount of shots I get because of AP regeneration based on chances, percentages. Like, for example, if it says 20% chance to gain 1 AP back upon free aim hit, then that's an absolute crapshoot as to how many actual attacks you get. Oh, she's enraged. She put down those shields, but I ain't gonna do her any good because I shoot through shields. See that? Those shields, they mean nothing to me. Oh yeah, Lune. Lune taking center stage for the win. I'm not actually taking the shields off. I'm just shooting straight through them. Whoa, something good proc there. Greater powerful, I think. Oh, there we go. I like that all of these hits get to hit them while they're stunned. So what I need to do is look at putting on Lumina or Pictos that increase damage while an enemy is stunned. I'm realizing that will speed things up. I'm learning some stuff already about this. Lune, yes! That's my girl. That was good too. That was good too. The first one was better, but that was also good. No gradient attacks either. We can't do gradient attacks. We can't do counter attacks. We can't do jump counter attacks. We can't do normal attacks, base attacks. We can't use skills. Free aim only, and then anything that procs off of free aim. Like if free aim applies burn, then burn counts. And as you can see, the boss has 158 stacks of burn. I've never seen 158 stacks of burn. I usually don't see anything beyond like maybe the 30s, maybe the 40s on a really long fight. But to see 158 stacks of burn is insane. Well, that's wild. I've never seen a number anywhere near that high. We're just building up those burn stacks. It's too bad they can't do much because guy can't get a turn in. I always assume that Eveke, is that how it's pronounced? I don't know. It looks kind of female if it were to have, you know, a male or female gender. We'll say it's a female. Interesting music. I've never heard it for this long. Lune coming in clutch for the win and kicked us out, but she's still got points left. It's like when the casino wants to kick you out and you still have tokens. Okay, now it kicked us out for real. It is really good that we can mash the shoot button. Otherwise, this would take freaking forever if there was a delay in shooting. Imagine if each shot took like 2 or 3 seconds of time. No one would want to watch that kind of playthrough. It would be brutally long. We're almost done with the first boss. It's taking a while, but we're almost done. Then we got to get that other little dude too, because I don't think the fight's over when the big one goes down. It's when they all go down. Oh, he finally gets a turn. She finally gets a turn. Oh, I didn't get a perfect? I dodged a little too early, I think. Ah, she's charging up. She's charging up. She's charging up, guys. All right. I love seeing all the stains that Lune builds as she shoots. Can't do much with them. Oh, yeah. She's broken. She's broken, guys. We're so close. Uh-oh. What's she doing now? She pulling some bullshit. Oh. I think this is like a scripted moment when you get the boss to a certain low health. Gotta say, does it kind of look cool? Yes. I feel like it pulls you out of the experience when it takes control away from you during the battle. I'd rather just have a regular fight that ends the regular way. I don't need like the fancy scripted like cutscene death shot. It's just, that always makes me feel like the developers are trying too hard to make it look cool for the kids. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal. It doesn't take that long. You know, I'm not really going to criticize them so much for it. I'd just say that if they asked me, I'd say, nah, we don't need that.
The message said head north.
Oh, so I hit the button for Eskia, but there is no Eskia yet. We can't access him. All right, we can't go straight because there's a ravine full of water. Oh, we can't get around that way. We got to run this way. I do have a mod installed that turns off most of the fog because the game looks beautiful and they fill it up with so much fog that you can't see most of it. I don't know why developers do that. Developers oftentimes make a good-looking game, and then they obscure it and ruin it with motion blur, vignette, film grain, chromatic aberration, and all sorts of, you know, fog and particle effects, and all sorts of shit that obscure your view of that awesome-looking game. All right, so because only these two characters are supposed to be in the party at the time, they're the only ones we have access to here. Although, like I said, for combat, you've always got access to the other ones. So we don't care about anything else. We're just going to keep rolling. We're not going to write in the journal. We're not going to do the optional dialogue segments. We had to go to camp there. It wouldn't let you continue without doing the camp thing. By the way, for those that don't know, before they came up with the idea of the camp, the original plan was to make the manor the hub world. You would always return to the manor. And then they changed it to be the camp. You'll notice that no matter where you camp, my cat is climbing all over the top of my computer, and I hope he doesn't shut off. I guess we'll get this thing. Why not? Just for fun. I hope he doesn't shut it off by hitting the reset button. I've disabled the shutdown button on my computer. The power button on the computer will turn it on, but in Windows, I went in and turned it off so that I have to shut down Windows from the operating system. I can't shut down Windows by hitting the power button. That's because the cat would jump up there and hit the power button and shut the system off on me. So I'd be working on editing a video or playing a game, and the cat, he just jumps up there and hits the power button and my computer shuts off. So I turned that off. If you didn't know, yes, you can turn off that functionality to, oh, we didn't even need that, to where your power button on your computer does not do anything once Windows has loaded up. Unless you hold it for 3 seconds. If you hold it for 3 seconds, it will still shut off. That's a hardware thing. Windows can't change that. By the way, I did use a sort of hack to explore this area a little more. And there are some Bourgeon enemies way off in the distance that you can't reach. If you manage to no-clip or get your way to them somehow, you're not intended to ever be able to do that. If you can actually get to them, which is through a hacking method, they are regular enemies that you can fight. Which I think is pretty cool. You can actually go up and fight them in the combat. The AI is as you would expect, and they drop normally what they would drop. So sometimes you get more damage by hitting like a head, it seems, 115, 57. See, you get more damage by hitting the head, but I have to wait to hit the head because hitting the head causes them to reel back. And so if I spam, I'll just miss a bunch of times. So it's like, so should I just spam and hit anywhere on the body, or should I aim for the head and wait for them to come back in position to hit the head again? We'll also be skipping fights we don't need to fight for the most part, although we may take on some optional bosses just for the hell of it. Oh, I forgot about this little surprise. This is one of the only times in the game where I just realized something. I think I accidentally turned on the enemy health times 100 multiplier. If that's what I did, that explains why that boss was so tough. I think I literally have the enemy health times 100 multiplier on. That explains a lot if that's true. We'll check at the next flag. But if that's true, I am very excited that this is going to be a much easier run than I thought. I don't know. I didn't think I turned it on. I thought I was just showing it to you guys. I was just scrolling through it to show you. I didn't think I'd actually turned on 100 times multiplier. That explains why the Eveke was such an absolutely brutally long fight. She had 100 times health. 100 times health. So that fight essentially took almost 100 times longer than it should have.
Slow down.
All right, let's go turn this shit off.
Inside yet.
It's great if you want to use regular abilities. That's not bad. That can actually make some bosses, you know, live longer than a moment. Yes, I do have 100 on. Okay. Now let's make sure it's off. All right, it's off. Let's keep it off. Let's just rest. You know what? Let's not rest. I don't want to restore anything, although it'll all restore after we go into the manor. So it doesn't matter. If you leave an area, it does the same as resting in terms of restocking all the enemies. They respawn. Excuse me. We'll skip this as well. And then we will hit this just for the hell of it. I had to open the entire manor, but right now everything's closed because you have to discover it each and every playthrough. So if you go to New Game Plus, the manor closes all up again, and you got to go back through it. All right, now we're playing as Mael, and she's officially in the team.
Find me?
The story and the game. By the way, Cosmo, if you're still here, I got something to show you.
Message.
You may be taking a break or whatnot, or you may have left. But for anyone that doesn't know, this isn't a huge secret. But if you don't want to see this secret, just, I don't know, pause the stream for like 2 minutes or less. Whoop! This is the dog room. The developers, or the director's dog, Monoko. Same as the character in the game, name-wise. I do believe I've discovered every secret that you can discover in the game without basically hacking or modding it. If you use the hack to basically get over collision boxes you're not meant to, you can go to areas you're not meant to. I've done that in a few cases, but so far, there's really not much there other than like backdrop. In a few cases, there will... Oh, wait, I dodged way too early. That was terrible on my part. I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to read to see if there was anything new in the chat. All right, this will be much better than the last boss. Although, hitting the head is quite a wait, so let's just do this. Why wait? Yeah, see, that's so much faster to do that. It's not worth waiting for their head to come back in position to get a headshot. Although Gustav does almost no damage at all. I wonder if he doesn't have all the Lumina and Pictos properly set up. He should have the same as what Verso had at the end of New Game. You'll notice it forced Gustav into the party, even though I didn't pick him. That's because this is a story fight. It will always give you the same characters to fight this fight. Oh, that was a jump. That's why I messed it up. It's a jump. I wasn't paying attention. I'm looking like a total amateur here.
I'm ready.
His attack does not look like something you would jump. But what they're trying to do here is teach you how the jump mechanic works. This is basically a tutorial built into the gameplay. Alright, this is going so much faster than the last boss. It still is taking a little while, but not nearly as bad, because, I mean, he's pretty close to dead already. I almost hit that button to do the counterattack. We're not supposed to. It was so tempting. We're just passing up damage. Oh, yeah, there we go. See how much faster that was?
That was... If...
Alright, so we're done there. Let's just hit this up. Rest to restore any lost health that wasn't given back to us. So I think they automatically refill your health at the end of that story-based fight.
You should go to the manor and maybe learn something.
Yeah, or we could get back to the Indigo tree.
Alright, let's change the team lineup, because one thing I don't like is anytime there's a story-based fight, it doesn't just change your team for the fight, it forcibly changes your team moving forward until you go back in and change it yourself. And sometimes I'll forget. And by the way, you will notice at times that the jiggle physics on the characters kind of wig out a bit, and they jiggle way too much. Like 2B in place of Mael, her butt just was like blah, 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 blah. It's the way the mod works. It's not totally in line with all the proper physics of the base game. So they don't totally work in tandem the way they're supposed to. This guy is not even going to have a chance to attack. All the better, though. Really, we didn't need to do that because I don't think he offers anything. Yeah, see, we already have everything. I mean, we could buy the more colored Lumina. That actually could come in handy. I might use some of those to stack more Lumina on my characters to improve damage. Like, I need to stack something that boosts damage to stunned enemies so that when I do stun a boss, I can shoot the shit out of them and do massive damage while they're stunned. Because breaking a boss isn't as significant for free aim, so we need to boost that damage when the boss is broken and stunned. Many people consider Flying Waters their favorite area, and I wouldn't say it's my favorite area, although it's up there. It's up there for sure. See, that's how we avoid that fight. Shoot him, and it stops him in his tracks so that we can continue. Although, are we going backwards? I think we might be going backwards. I do get turned around sometimes. It's pretty easy to outrun most enemies as long as they're not set up in a position where you have to get through them. If they're blocking the path, then you have to fight them. There's the way their hitbox or their aggro range works, you can't sneak past them. The enemies will aggro wider than their physical model, which makes sense for the purposes of the game. There's nothing wrong with the way they built that. They designed it that way to make it a little simpler and easier.
Who could have done this?
Yes.
So you didn't just stay in your mansion. Guess we found 68's boat.
There's a path through the boat.
That anchor doesn't look man-made.
There's an optional white Nevron around here. I don't intend to actually do that quest. We've done them all. We don't get anything new for it. It'll just be converted to chroma that we don't need.
It's forging something. So they have intelligence.
You know what? We don't have to fight those guys, but we'll do it just for the hell of it. Oh, that wasn't close enough. Chroma blast. Okay, let's hit the weak points. He should have a weak point on him. Oh yeah, that was good. That guy's got a weak point. We'll take out the little guy first. And then I think that was his only weak point, right? Well, it doesn't matter. He's weak anyway. Upgrade material we don't need because literally every weapon in the game, we have every weapon in the game and they're all maxed out. Which, that sounds like a lot of work, and it kind of is, but if you explore the world and fight everything you encounter, you get most of the materials that you need. And you start discovering much higher level versions of the same weapons. So you don't have to upgrade your level 16 whatever weapon all the way. Because later on you'll find like a level 29 or level 31. Sometimes you'll find a level 32 and only need to do the final upgrade. Alright, where's this weak spot? There it is. Oh, she's out. And we're back. There's Lune. She just held the game. So she carried the team the whole way. Solo. No one else even needed to take a turn. Oh, this is an optional area. Sometimes it's fun to just shoot the enemies. This earbud, I think I need to switch out the little doodad. It doesn't fit as well as it used to. It doesn't stay in quite the same. Oh, I one-shot that first one. That's nice. It's a good feeling to one-shot the enemies, especially when you're doing headshots.
This will be useful.
That was a 360 no-scope without the 360. So it was just a no-scope hit, I guess. I like the mini-map because even though I constantly forget it's there, it can kind of help guide me where I need to go without just some of that wandering that I would do. We'll pick that up. It's there. We don't need it, but whatever. Why not? It won't hurt anything.
So many.
One of my favorite tracks in the game is... So, here's what I was talking about earlier. One of my favorite tracks in the game is the one that plays in some of the battles with that guy.
Avoid
So,
those at all costs.
there's a bunch of these guys in the background over there. You can see them as you explore. There's no way to get to most of them. And by the way, that ground right there, the reason it looks kind of simple like that is it's supposed to be covered with fog. So normally you wouldn't see that like that. If you get to him by using a hack or some sort of cheat to no-clip over this, right here is an invisible collision box. If you can get above that collision box, you can get to him. And if you encounter him, it's a regular fight. That's a regular enemy right there. He's not just for show. And there's something back here. I think this may not be the path forward. This may be to like a secret item or something. Or a fight. It's a mime. We'll tackle the mime. We'll do the mime. Why not? What's it gonna hurt? Me? The mime protects itself. Those shields don't mean shit to us. We shoot right on through them. Whew, okay. You're supposed to break the mime to be able to do any significant amount of damage. We can break the mime, it's just gonna take a while. Oh, that didn't take nearly as long as I thought it would. Now, oh yeah, that's it. We did 296,279 in a single shot once the mime was broken. The mime is incredibly defensive. The mine has super high defense until you break them. Or her. Until they're broken, you cannot do much damage at all. Like, most of your attacks are doing chip damage. But once broken, they're not tough. And through here is our first Bourgeon fight of New Game Plus. Love, if this is the song I'm thinking of, it's one of my favorite songs in the game, battle songs. You guys will find it weird, but I love it. Oh, no. That's not it. No, wait. Is it? Yeah. Yeah, this is it. It just didn't start the normal way that I'm used to because I listened to the OST in the car, and it starts out a little differently. It just sounds so intense. And then you get the lyrics that come in right about now. My wife was sitting in the same room with me when I was playing through the game, and she made a comment when this song kicked in. She's like, that's a very intense song. I said, yes, it is. All right. Let's hope the Version doesn't start eating all of us. I have to skip turns because we're not doing regular attacks. We're doing only free aim. The skip turn does take about 3 seconds of holding the tab button, the tab key. Alright, this is easy. No problem. And that is the first Version enemy of New Game Plus. Free aim, shots only. Now that song, I absolutely love that combat song. I don't think it has an official name. I can't find it. Every time I try to look it up on YouTube, I have to like save the video because there doesn't appear to be like a regular name for it. It's just like Flying Waters Battle Theme 2 or something. This flag does not activate until that Go Blue runs all the way off. Although, there it goes, okay. You have to wait for him to run off before it activates. I also think this is a really good song. It's just a fun song. It's rock solid. It's awesome. Whoa, I'm surprised that didn't activate.
Our resident cynic is now a poet.
Let's see. We'll go this way. I think this is the way forward. I gotta remember which way to go. I usually just explore everything every time I play through the game, so I haven't memorized the most direct path to completion. Although oftentimes, if you see torches, if you see lamps, if you see light posts, those generally guide you in the direction of the storyline. So if there are like 3 paths you could take and one has a couple lanterns near it or above it, that's usually the story path. That's to progress the story. That's the way forward. The other paths are just optional stuff, items, optional fights. Yep. Gustav picks the flower. That aggravates the hell out of Go Blue. Go Blue puts on shields, but we don't give a shit. They don't mean anything to us. So you do more damage hitting those eye thingies, I believe. Yeah, 127 versus 56. But you kind of got to wait for them to come back into place. Otherwise, it's hard to get the aim perfectly, but why not? Third-person shooter, guys. We have turned a turn-based role-playing game into a third-person shooter. We can actually use that shape of health, by the way. The only thing I didn't get was the last revive tent. Or the healing tent. Which was it? It was one of those. Tent is in T-I-N-T, not T-E-N-T. Not a tent that you know, zip up and sleep in when you're camping. It's a tent as in color. Is there anything optional over there? No. I don't think there's anything in this game I haven't discovered that can be discovered through normal play, not hacking or cheating or, you know, no clipping through the walls and shit. I'm pretty sure I've discovered everything. I've fought everything. I've collected everything. I've been everywhere. And I have played through it 4 times, so it would make sense. All right, let's get some of these characters up to par with the others. Just keep them kind of even. And then let's also look at down there. Yep, shape of health. All right, all those are maxed out now. So there's no point in getting any more of those. It won't do anything. Every time you go to camp, you're forced to use either Gustav as your character or Verso. And there's a reason for that. We're going to skip all the dialogue segments. We're going straight forward. We've seen it all, guys. I've seen it all 4 times over. All right, we're on the other side.
More about the village, other than red trees everywhere.
I do really appreciate how the overworld has a very unique look and feel to it. Like the scale of things, the angle, the layout, the colors. It's very unique, and it feels like something special. It's not just... They didn't just build an overworld because they needed one. They made the overworld feel like a legitimate part of the game. You know what we'll do, just for the hell of it? We will try the Petanque fight, free aim only. I don't know if we'll get him down before he runs off, but this will be a test to see, because this will be the weakest Petanque in the game. So, oops, wrong one. So it'll be interesting to see if we can kill him. If not, we probably can't kill any of the Petanques before they leave. Okay, well, we definitely can kill that one. But they get much tougher in terms of their total health pool. The later ones have a lot more health.
This will be useful.
Stuff in this game scales as you go up, and it scales a lot, but then so do you. And eventually, you'll get the painted power Pictos, which you'll need to learn and equip on every character. It becomes pretty much mandatory, because if you don't equip it, the fights will take forever. Painted power allows you to exceed 9999. Without it, man, those fights in the late game probably take you, some of them, over an hour to get in enough damage if you're maxed out at 9999. Yep, he has a weak point there. We can shoot his arm off, and he's dead. I can actually parry that because there's no counterattack. That's a death animation he does. They can actually hurt you in death, and if they crash into you and kill you, I believe you fail the fight. I've never actually failed one, so maybe at some point we should try failing it, like equip the Pictos that puts us all at 1 health, and then after beating them, let the characters die from the crash and see if that counts as failing the fight and like the enemy is back. Because some of those enemies, obviously like that one, they don't respawn. So I wonder if he had crashed into us and killed us, would we have to fight him again? I don't know. That's a good question. That's something I don't know about the game. It'd be easy to find out. We'll blow his arm off. No need, actually. He'll die quickly. Parry just for the hell of it. Because I don't get to parry very often in this playthrough. Because we don't want to activate
These things are fascinating.
the counterattacks.
How does he even stand?
That would be cheating the system. Could have run around that guy. Speed things up. These guys have weak points too. It disables some of their special attacks if you hit them, but we're going to kill them so fast it doesn't matter. Feels so good to parry versus dodging. Dodging is like quiet. Doesn't give you that cool sound effect. Even seeing the minimap, this area is very windy.
This place is confusing.
They built it to make their village harder to find.
If we can get over there, we can use the upgraded painted power, or the what's this called? The paint shot or paint blast? I can't remember what it's called. And then we can get through that rock, but we don't have the ability right now to break those rocks. See the lanterns? That's your guide as to what direction continues the storyline. More lanterns, follow the lanterns, and that's generally going to take you in the direction of story completion. The main storyline. Of course, the Gestrals insist on fighting us. It looks like I can do okay damage even through his physical shield right there. I'm trying to break that arm, see if that'll do more damage, but it's hard to get the aim precise on it. From my angle, I kind of have to knock him back and then shoot it while he's knocked back, but he quickly recovers. Okay, now he's gonna fire at us in response. Oh yeah, broke him. Now does he have a weak point? No. I don't think so. What about the head? Oh yeah, the head's a weak point. The head on a lot of enemies is a weak point, even if it's not traditionally what we would recognize as a head, because some of these Nevrons are very interesting designs that don't really resemble people. They will oftentimes have legs, sometimes arms, but not always. Sometimes there are no legs, arms, no head, no face, no eyes. There's a reason for all of that, story-based reason. It's interesting how much of this game is woven in to the story and the lore and the world.
Useful.
Even the colors of some Nevrons and the colors of attacks, if you pay attention to the story, there's a reason for it, and it all makes sense. There are lots of consistent themes that run through it like a thread. I'm so used to upgrading everything at the flags, I forget that you don't get that until later. You have to do most of your upgrades through
better at surviving than
the curator at camp.
Intelligence is not a
But later on in
prerequisite for
in-game, you can do it at any flag. So you don't have to keep going back to camp.
There's
We need to get.
others. A white.
She will want us to, like, fight through the
Why?
arena,
We already
the trials at the arena, to give us permission to go talk to Eskia. The tournament.
The straight.
I love how you can go up and down in the options using W and S. A lot of games will force you to use the arrow keys, which if you look at my hands, they're like this on the keyboard. So I'm like this on the keyboard, mouse hands over here. If I have to use the arrow keys, I have to move my hands all the way over to the arrow keys and then move them all the way back. I love how the WASD function as arrow keys. That's awesome. It shows that they were really thinking about the optimal setup for a mouse and keyboard play. You could select the option with, it looks like it's time for somebody to eat, and he's
the way.
crawling all over my desk. I don't know if you guys saw that. The cat was crawling all over the desk there. And now he's on top of my computer again, and he's getting close to hitting that reset button. I could turn off the power button in Windows, but the reset button, I can't do anything about that. So I'm thinking of actually doing something maybe to cover the reset button so he can't hit it by mistake. Because the cat would always hit the freaking power button on top of my computer and shut it off on me, so that's why I had to turn off the power button functionality in Windows. We'll use Lune. I think she might be the best choice for this. I don't know, maybe Mael. I would normally just use Mael and Stendhal, but we're free aiming only. Which doesn't matter, these guys are weak. We're gonna probably try Golgra after this. You're not meant to be able to defeat her until later, but we'll try it anyway. Golgra is pretty intense. She is a very tough fight this early on, especially if you're not fully upgraded in level 99 like I am for all of my characters. We'll have Gustav just for the hell of it. I don't normally use the 2 male characters, or 3 technically. I make this an all-women expedition for reasons that should be obvious. Alright, there's one last one, and we'll use Mael. It doesn't really matter. We don't need anything. It's just irrelevant. Although, actually, I think for this one, it does matter in New Game. Whichever character you choose for this fight, they get a very special, very powerful weapon that is much harder to get later. So you probably want to pick Mael for this one. I think she gets Medallium, which is pretty much an in-game weapon. End game. Like, you take that all the way to end game, and then we'll continue to use it onward. It's like her best weapon, pretty much. Well, that was easy. CL didn't get a chance to do anything. I will say it is kind of annoying when there's a cutscene. Yeah, you get Medallium. See, they converted it to Chroma. Medallium is pretty much Mael's best weapon overall. It is not equipped on her right now because we're using a weapon better suited for free aim shooting.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, let's try this duel, and we're gonna use. Let's use Lune. Why not? We're not using Miles Stendhal, so there's no point in always using that. Alright, I have to dodge because if I parry everything, I'll get a counterattack, and that defeats the purpose of a free aim only run. She is a little tougher, so I may want to actually kind of slow down and make sure I hit her head and do extra damage. Oh, wow. This is going to take a while. And she has really high agility. Oh, I dodged that first one, or second one, way too early. Oh, man, I ran out of shots there fast. Bummer. Oh, I messed it up again. Dodging too early. I don't know why I think dodging is different than parrying. I should just do the normal parry timings I always do. Oh, didn't get too many hits there, did I? This is, of course, an optional fight. I am missing a few times because I'm trying to get her head and her head's moving around. If I aim at her body, I hit it every time, but I do less damage. So... Alright, she's in super angry mode. I think we still got it. I'm not too worried about it. Okay, the last dodge there was a little off, but it still counted. It didn't give me a perfect. There we go. She's broke. She's broke. She's been broken. She's been broked. Dang. I couldn't get that last one in there. Alright. I think we got her. I think we got her. I think this is it. Yep. Okay, that wasn't too tough. Especially since I have a ton of health on these characters. She just can't do enough damage to take me down. I have to really screw it up pretty bad. Of course, that was an optional fight. We didn't need to do it. There's no real reward at this point. We already have all the rewards from this game. Everything. There's nothing we haven't discovered and gotten. This is kind of an interesting song. At first, I thought I didn't like it, and then it grew on me, and then I didn't like it again. I don't know. You know, some songs in games, like, you kind of like them, and you kind of don't at the same time. Back at camp. We've already seen it several times. We're not going to check up on anyone. We're just going to go straight to sleep and get back to business. I'm not here to make friends. We're here to kill the paintress, okay? That's our mission. There may be some other elements to it.
Yeah.
But
We can debrief
that's
along
the
way.
mission as stated.
Let's head east to Esquier's Nest.
Now we head east to Esquier's Nest. I do appreciate that the characters, when you set off on a new path, one of the characters will briefly say something about where to go. And that's awesome. Because if they just left you sitting there at the overworld, you may be wondering, WTF, where the fuck do I go? Unfortunately, this is our first Lost Gestrel. You're meant to find him, and that sets up the Lost Gestrel quest line. The dude that needs the Gestrels will start showing up at the camp now. You get rewards for saving them or rescuing them, one of which is the ability to break those paint spires with your paint shot right there. That's an important one that you want because that unlocks a whole lot of stuff. New areas, items, all sorts of stuff that you couldn't otherwise access because they're blocked by the paint spires. All right, here we go. We're going in. The next fight up here is going to be Francois. Or Francis, if you prefer. Francois just sounds cooler, you know what I mean? If you're out there in the chat, let me know. Just say hi, say something. The chat has died down. There was a whole bunch of chat, thanks to Cosmo, who's in here.
I don't know.
He subscribed today. Thank you very much, Cosmo, if you're still here. Listening and lurking and listening.
Feels a little...
Lurkers, welcome. But I always prefer conversation. There is a mushroom quest line in here that you must do before the end of Act 1. Otherwise, you're locked out of it. It's not a major thing. It's not a huge deal if you get locked out. But there are a few cases where you can be locked out of a quest. And if it does happen, there's sometimes no other way to get that item. Sometimes it's like colored lumina and upgrade materials, and that's not a big deal at all. But other times it'll be a special weapon or Pictos. And if you don't get it, you have to wait until New Game Plus. There's no way to go back and get it.
More questions I have.
But don't worry, if you're playing this through, you don't have to follow some guide to make sure you get everything. It's not that big a deal.
Surprising.
You'll see some very minor graphical glitches because of all the visual mods I've installed that remove the fog and other things. They're not normally in the game. Those are my mods I installed. It's still worth it for me because I like having a lot of that excessive fog and stuff removed so I can see more of the actual game. This is a very unique song, and I'm just not sure it fits, but it's cool anyway. I've learned to accept it now, but it's just such an intense song for a fight that's kind of comedic. You'll notice that Mael's foot looks like it's broken there because the mod for her doesn't work perfectly, so her right foot just keeps breaking at the ankle. But then again, that actually happens in regular games without mods. Dark Souls would have the ankle break effect happen quite a bit back in the day. Do we get more points for shooting his head? Let's find out. 93, 51, 51, 100,000, 84. It looks like yes, but there are some other factors, like I do more damage on the first hit than on the second. I have a lot of Pictos and Lumina equipped. So not all shots are created equal, guys. Not all shots are created equal. Francois is an angry guy. You know, between Francois and Esquier, I'd rather have a Francois statue or plushie. Because as a middle-aged man in America, working a full-time job with a family and a career, I can better connect with Francois' frustration and anger than I can with Esquier's just happy-go-lucky, everything's fine all the time attitude. You know what I mean? I know too much about the world and what's going on to have a happy-go-lucky, everything's fine attitude.
You think the paintress created them too?
We'll go get this optional mime just for the hell of it.
Maybe they came from another world.
Yeah, don't dive in this water. You'll break your neck. You'll never walk again. See the outfit that she's wearing, the hat and the hair? That's what you get. You can often tell what you get from the mime based on what they're wearing.
Now's our chance.
Those shields don't mean shit to us. We shoot right through them. Alright, we gotta break this mime. Boom, broken. Easy. We did it on Lune's first turn, considering she has the cheater Lumina equipped, which allows her to play twice in a row. It is one of the most powerful Pictos in the game. If you haven't discovered it, you might want to look it up. The cheater Pictos. I can tell you where to get it. It's from Sprong. I'm pretty sure Sprong gives it to you. He's a really big overworld boss who's in the water in the northern part of the continent. Not quite by the monolith, but towards, if you're going towards the monolith, he's off the coast of this island. Very massive, unique looking guy. And he's tough in new game. He's tough. He's a real fight. You have to earn that, Pictos. Believe me. If you try to fight him the first time you can encounter him, there's almost no chance you can win. He's just got so much health, it would take forever. That's the thing is, some of the late game bosses are available to interact with and fight very early on. But if you try, you're in for a long marathon fight because you're just not going to do enough damage to really put a dent in their giant health pool. But I gotta say, sorry, my lips get dry when I talk too much. That's the universe telling me to shut up. But you can't shut up during the live stream. That's boring. Anyway, I love that the game allows you to access some of the technically in-game content early on. Optional in-game stuff. Because it doesn't spoil anything. And you can challenge yourself and then find out how difficult stuff gets later and what you can expect. Boop. This is a one-way trip right here. Bam. You cannot, I don't think you can get back up there. But it's fine because you just go in the other way. You just go in the other door, guys. You know how it is. Sometimes they say you can't go in that way. You gotta take the other route. And there should be a little item down here. Chroma? Is it just chroma? We don't need chroma. We've got so much chroma. We got chroma coming out of our ears. We don't need it. Let's see. Are we supposed to take a path up? No, that's at Minoko Station. I'm thinking of Minoko Station. Here we just leave. And then we have Eskia. I probably should just turn off the tutorials. Let's do that, because those are just going to be a time waster. Tutorials. Off. Alright. Eskia mode. Hit the Z key, guys. He can run faster than your characters, and he allows you to progress through the story by breaking through this stuff and opening up new areas. Eskia is how they gate content in the game. When Eskia learns a new ability, that opens up more of the world for you. We're going to fight this Bourgeon because I love these Bourgeon fights. They're really cool enemies. They have some cool moves. We'll take out the little guys first. I was hoping to one-shot them, but that did not happen. These guys are already taking multiple hits, so this may get a little tougher as we go on. Let me test something here. Alright, 25, 570, 28. There doesn't appear to be any benefit to hitting the head versus the body. I mean, the head's so big, it would be hard to miss if you're trying to hit it. Headshot. Studio, Dino Storm. Dino, how's it going, man? Welcome back. Appreciate you being here. It even jiggles. Yes, it does. And you're not talking about the Bourgeon, are you? I have jiggle physics installed on these mods, guys. How can you read the damage numbers? You shoot once and look at that yellow number down there. It's right there. See it? But when you shoot fast, it really doesn't matter how much damage each number tells me. It's just a curiosity at this point. But I love that you can shoot as fast as you can click the mouse button. There's no time limit. There's no pause. There's no mandatory delay. It makes it so much more fun. You just blow through your shots. You can blow your load as fast as you want. And then there's a lost gestural over here. We only need to get the amount that we need for the ability for our paint shot to destroy those paint pillars. Even though, honestly, I don't think there are no paint pillars you have to destroy. None of them are blocking essential areas of the game. They only open up optional content, other items, special weapons, stuff like that. This is a mandatory camp. We have to camp. Mael will tell you she's tired and she wants to camp if you try to go forward. Exactly, Dino Storm. I get what you mean. I've been doing this for so long that it's like, it's totally normal for me to see all the female characters in this game and their skimpy outfits. I don't even think about it anymore, but I guess it would be very off-putting for someone who's new to it. I will say, nobody should play this game for the first time with any of those character mods installed. That would be a shame. That would not be good. Don't do that. Don't play the game with all the females as 2B in skimpy outfits for your first playthrough. That would kind of, you know, ruin the experience. It would really hurt the experience. If you're gonna play this game, play it through without, you know, visual character mods. You can install some simple mods if you want to get rid of like all the extra post-processing. I installed a mod to get rid of the splash screens. I also installed this, well, it's the same mod, to increase the cutscenes from 30 FPS. For some reason, in all their wisdom, no matter how good some developers are, like Sandfall did a great job on this, they majorly fucked up by making cutscenes 30 FPS limited. Very stupid. Incredibly stupid, absolutely dumb decision that cannot be justified. Thankfully, there's an easy mod fix that just unlocks the frame rate, but limiting cutscenes to 30 on the PC version of the game, total fail, dumbass move. I don't know why they did that. And despite how many patches they've made, I don't even think they fixed it. That should be considered broken.
Lovely.
I would consider that broken. That to me is a bug. It is broken. It is a problem that needs to be fixed. It's not a choice. It doesn't make it more cinematic, because cinema is traditionally 24 frames per second, not 30. If they wanted to be cinematic, they would make it 24. They don't. That 30 is some limited console hardware bullshit. And when people play on PC, they may have a powerful PC and not require a 30 FPS limit. I don't need 30 FPS limit. Yeah, Studio, Dino. The game can go up to unlimited frame rate. So with an unlimited frame rate game, why in the holy mother of fuck are you going to limit the cutscenes to 30? The cutscenes are being rendered live. They're not pre-recorded. Well, most of them. They're not. Some of them are movies, actually, but those could still play at a higher frame rate. Why? Why would you render out the cutscenes at a 30 FPS cap? Incredibly stupid. Oh, I ran out.
A storm is coming.
So dumb, so dumb. Total, complete fail on that one aspect. And it really hurts the cutscenes when you're on PC and you're getting 80 frames a second, 114 frames a second, and then you hit a cutscene and it's like 30. It's jarring. It is absolutely jarring. And it kind of hurts your eyes to just suddenly go down to 30 from like 70, 80, 90 plus, and then bam, 30. It's brutal. I also installed a mod that makes these cultist enemies a little bustier.
Now's our chance.
It's kind of stupid, but whatever. I have a whole bunch of Pictos and Lumina equipped to make this build custom tailored for shooting. I have basically every single Lumina that enhances your free aim shots equipped. that's why you notice that it seems like I can almost shoot unlimited at times. It's not unlimited. It depends on RNG. I have things that can proc to give me AP points back. I have things that can proc to put mark, or even that second mark, double mark on the enemy. So there are a lot of things that depend on RNG. So that can very much change how the fight goes, whether those things proc or not. If I get a whole bunch of procs from the AP return, is that the way I just came? No. If I get that AP return proc a whole bunch, I could just shoot a shit ton. Am I going backwards? I think I am, aren't I? No. Maybe, I don't know. We'll find out in a moment here. Sometimes I can't tell if I get turned around. I should be able to tell, but, you know. Whatever. We'll get through it all in the end. That's a... whatever. Maybe I did turn around. No, I didn't. Maybe I did. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. We'll go up here just for fun. This is an optional area you might miss initially, but they put an enemy up there that you can just barely see the top of, which is a good indicator to, hey, there's something over here. If they put an enemy somewhere, that usually means you can get to it. Not always. There are some enemies that are part of the background. Oh, I didn't get a shot. It doesn't matter. All it does is slow them down. It doesn't affect their health. All right, so for these, we want to hit those little floaty bits to do the most damage. This is where aim matters. So you'll notice that the cultist had shields on her, and it didn't seem to matter. She died with her shields on her. That's because I have a Pictos, or actually in this case a Lumina equipped, that allows me to shoot through shields. It's a shield piercing Lumina, which means it does not matter how many shields the enemy has. It doesn't have any effect on me. I shoot right through them all. So shields don't matter at all. They're irrelevant, which is cool. So we don't have to worry about enemies that shield themselves. That doesn't affect us at all. So that's interesting in that that is a very small version of the giant paintress statue that you encounter later in the game. And by including it here, they basically remind you of what your mission is. You can constantly see the monolith, and even at times see the statue of the paintress, or the paintress herself. Let's see if you can see the monolith from here. Depending on where you're at in the environment around you, you can actually see the monolith in the background. And believe it or not, it's often... oh, there it is. Right there. See? You can read the number on it. It's often visible in fights. Okay, so I'm going to do something here. And I'm going to use Cheat Engine. And it's not going to affect the characters. I'm not going to cheat in terms of the characters or anything like that. I am going to use a script that allows me to jump infinitely, because I want to know, is that a regular Bourgeon enemy and can you fight them? In flying waters, if you can see them, you can get to them, you can fight them if you can get to them, even if you hack your way to them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hack our way to the bird. We're going to jump up above the invisible collision box. There it is. You can actually see you climb up on it. That's the top of the collision box. And what we're going to do... oops. Let's... damn. Let's go back, because I'm not in running. I want to be running. That'll make us move faster. Yeah. Okay. Make sure we're running. If you're not running, you can't start running once you're in the air. So this will allow us to move a little faster. We're going to get to that Bourgeon, and unfortunately we have to keep mashing the jump button, otherwise we'll fall down through the water. Woo! Oh! They actually have collision here. Normally you just fall through the floor. I've explored these areas before. Some like this, not this area though. But I explored flying waters. Yeah, see this? This does not have collision built in because you're not intended to get there. So there would be no reason for them to put collision on it. However, these rocks probably have collision because I think they come with it by default. Nope. I'm wrong. All right, we're going to get to that Bourgeon. We're going to get to it one way or another. We're flying. We're flying. Woo! Looks like she's praying, doesn't it? It's like the holy position there. That's not a very holy outfit, obviously, unless that's, I don't know, maybe that's a religion we can all get behind. Pun intended. I just got to keep mashing the jump button, otherwise we'll fall. But I guess we can run down there, can't we? Is there collision here? Oh, nope, 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 nope. We ran out of collision. We should be able to get back up. Oh, no. Are we stuck? Okay, no. So, if there's no collision up here, we should still be able to activate the fight if it's a regular enemy. Yes, Dino, you got that right. This is a religion I can get behind. All right, let's see. So you'll notice that these textures are not fully drawn out. They're not fully shaded. And that's because with the fog and other effects in the game, you wouldn't be able to see that much detail this far out. So you wouldn't be able to see that these are not fully textured. And that's actually a good thing that they're not fully textured because it's not wasting processing power. So the bourgeon is partially in the water. The fact that it's moving, I think this is going to be a fight. Let's find out. Here we go, buddy. Here we go. Oh, what? It's just a static backdrop? Come on. I wanted to fight this guy. Is there another part of him that will activate? No. Wow. Part of him doesn't even have collision. His head has collision. Oh, we can get inside his legs partially. All right, that was a waste of time. Now we just have to go back. Oh, we're inside the bourgeon. All right, now I got to remember. How do I get back? Where is it there? It's going to take a while. You cannot hold the jump button. You just fall. You have to keep hitting the jump button. But hopefully we'll get to some collision ground soon so we can just then run and then jump over the invisible collision box to get back to where we're supposed to be. But yeah, I'm just curious as to how much in the backdrop can be interacted with. But all of the bourgeon that are in the background in flying waters can be interacted with. You're not intended to. There's no way to get to them without using a hack or a cheat. But if you go to them using the jump glitch here, or the jump hack actually, it initiates a fight. And it's a regular fight with a bourgeon. Normal AI, goes the way it always does, and you get the normal rewards. Yes, Dino. Your question came in right as I was saying it. Some of the enemies in the background that you cannot reach normally are regular enemies. They do have an aggro range, and you can activate fights and fight them normally. And they just drop what they normally drop. So there are cases where Sandfall puts a normal enemy in the background, knowing you can't get to it. But if you hack your way to it, it is a normal fight. So I fought all the bourgeon in, I think, can we get there? That's pretty drawn out for an area you can't get to, but I guess you could see most of that. So they probably drew it and rendered it fully. Yeah, they fully rendered it because we might actually be going over there. All right, let's see where's this collision box? Is it right there? Nope. Oh, it's somewhere around here. Oh, we found it. There it is. There's the collision box. So as you can see, Sandfall wanted to make absolutely damn sure there would be no way for you to get over this collision box, no matter where you managed to glitch your character to. It's almost unthinkable you could glitch your way up this high. So pretty much the only way to do that is to use an external hack like Cheat Engine. I'm going to disable Cheat Engine now because I don't want it running during our normal play. Thankfully, there's no fall damage, so it doesn't matter how far you fall. You don't take damage. If you fall off a ledge, an infinite fall, it'll just reset you to an earlier point. You don't actually ever die from falling.
We can use that.
So that area over there you can't get to normally, but I've not found any items or anything to collect in an area you're not intended to be, obviously, because there would be no point in putting it there. The only way, or the only reason they would have to put stuff in an inaccessible area as if they were planning ahead for DLC or something, but they don't normally do that. So I can hit the M key to get rid of that modded in minimap there. I accidentally turned it off, but I do like it on so I know where I'm going in this 5th playthrough of the game. Woo! That took a while. And when I say it took a while, I mean for, you know, just a regular old enemy. Is it this way or is this the way we came? I can't remember. I got so distracted by that semi, not quite a no-clip glitch. Oh yeah, that's where we were. It's not a no-clip glitch. By the way, I will show you, I have the console activated through a mod. However, there is no list of commands anywhere. I did discover one. It's a generic Unreal Engine 5 command that allows you to move the camera freely, but there is a big problem. Once you activate the free camera, there's no way to go back to controlling your character. You can't deactivate it. All the normal commands to deactivate don't work, so you're stuck in free cam mode. Your characters are stuck where they're at, and the only thing you can do is force close the game or exit the game. There's no way to regain control of your character. So if you ever go into free camera mode through the console, that's the way you're going to be until you restart the game. And I'll show you that here if I remember the command. What is it? I think I have to look it up. I can't remember exactly what it is. UE5 free camera command. It's the general console command for it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so it's enable debug camera. Boom. Although we were... Okay, it probably didn't work because we were... Oh, wait, it's not going to work now? Enable debug camera. Toggle. It's toggle, sorry. There are different commands. They're not always the same command. Toggle debug camera. All right, so now we got debug camera activated. So we can freely move around anywhere we want. The problem is there's no way to deactivate it, because if you use the same command, nothing happens. See? So if you try disable debug camera, nothing. If you try deactivate, did I spell that correctly? Deactivate debug camera. Nope. Toggle debug camera off. No, I've tried everything I could think of. I looked up all the standard commands. None of them work. So now we are stuck in debug camera mode. I have to actually reload the game. That's an area we can go to. This is not. You can't speed up the debug camera, which is interesting. Also, it causes the frame rate to look a little weird, almost like it's lower than it indicates it is. Things get a little jittery, but then again, this is not how you're intended to explore the game. But you can see that a lot of this stuff is very detailed for stuff like, check this out, look at this. I'm not sure you could even see that from way over. That's how far out you are from this. How would you even see that detail right there? Yet it's there. Oh, Dino Storm. The Westman Steam page will launch in the next 49 hours. Currently uploading the trailer. That's awesome. Is the game going to be available then, or will it just have info? I played like the browser version of your game, if that's the one you're talking about. Not, I don't know if you're doing a new one or whatnot. But yeah, there's just no way to, you know, you have to exit the game. So let me boot it back up. Exiting the game is the only way to regain control of your character. But if you ever wanted to go into debug camera mode, you can do that. It's a no clip mode, so you're not bound by collision. You can just move the camera wherever you want. Sometimes called free roam camera. Debug camera. All right, and we're back.
Looks like a farm.
So it's just, it's a neat thing you can do if you want to. You do have to download and install a mod to enable the debug, or not the debug, the console commands, like to get this console to come up, or you edit one of the INI files. That will also do it. I just can't remember which one because I am using the mod that does it. Oh, you little bastard. Is he? Oh, no, he's supposed to go over there, I believe. So we might actually be doing this correctly. We'll see. The Petanque drops special items, although we don't need any of them because we already have them all. And now we're going to go from the other side. You don't always chase them in the same way. Sometimes you have to go back around and come at them from a different direction. The direction you approach them will determine the direction they go. So if I were to go around him and come from the other side, then he would move the other way. So it's... Oh, yeah, see, I fucked it up, I guess. There we go. Okay. Oh, that... What the fuck, dude? Seriously? Get back in there, you little asshole. He's just fucking with me now. Why is he acting so weird? He sure is acting funny. I'm pretty sure... Isn't he supposed to go back up in here? Let me take a look. He might not want to go up here. No, oh, is this not where he goes? No, that is the Petanque thingy, but he can't get there yet until we open it up. So this is a paint cage. You have to find the 3 chromatic spots and shoot them, and then the paint cage will open. Sometimes they're actually pretty well hidden. Oh, no, it's not his spot. It's something else. It's an item. Okay, so we were pushing him in the wrong direction. Dinostorm says, just Steam page for now. The demo will be available in a few months, hopefully. However, some of you and some other lads will get access to the game sooner. Awesome. I would love to do an actual dedicated video. If you're up for it, I'd like to stream it and then upload a separate YouTube video about it. If that's something you think would be cool. All right, you little fucker. We'll figure this out. Okay, I think this is it. Once we push him over there, we can then approach this way. Oh, what the fuck? Is that not it? Or are we supposed to push him up here? I probably should have looked first to make sure I knew which direction I was pushing him. Nope. I'm pretty sure I'm pushing him the right way. Little asshole doesn't want to go where he's supposed to go. Let me see if we do this. Man, I've done this like 4 times already, and I'm already forgetting how to do it. I don't think there's any way to get back up around that. So, he does not want to go there, does he? Can I push him from this way now? Yeah, so I thought at that point he was supposed to go up there. Am I not doing this right? Alright, let's just push him all the way across and see what happens then. Alright. So, it made a sound effect when I pushed him there. So I wonder, do I then come back around this way and do it? Nope. Yes, obviously, I would definitely want your game to be in a good enough state that I could play it, and it would represent the game well in the live stream. I wouldn't want to have to tell people, hey, this will be better, this will be fixed. Ideally, you know, it should be in a good state where people look at it and be like, hey, that looks cool. I don't know. I think we might give up on this guy. I'm not sure why I'm fudging this up so bad. I usually don't have that much trouble with Petanques. But it doesn't matter. We have everything already anyway. Was this not even the right way to push him? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was back down there. Anyway, who cares? We have it already. We have everything already. The game, of course, does have climbing, and the good news is you just push in the direction of the next handhold, and you continue. You don't have to mash the jump button while doing it. That's a white Nevron. You can interact with him and do a quest. We've done it many times before. No reason to do it. Sometimes you do get the color of Lumina, which is still useful because I can still upgrade my characters with it. But I have so much, I don't really need a lot more. It would be nice to have some more to add a few more Lumina, but it's not that critical. It may help, though, if I add some Lumina that do additional damage when the enemy is stunned. That might help with some of the tougher fights. All right, let me get rid of some junk on my second monitor that I brought up. You can't get in that water through any normal means. I'm not going to mess around with the jump hack right now. The quest items for that Nevron are actually in this area right here. And I want to show you guys one because it's kind of cool. Oh, I can't get up there. He got me. He got me. He got me, Jim. I've been got. Oh, okay. Went through an entire turn, and there's still an enemy standing. Oh, shit. We're going to have to use another character for this one. Missed with the first shot, but we're still good. You don't want to miss shots, because if you miss, none of the special thingies proc. It won't apply burn, it won't put a mark, it won't potentially give you an AP if you miss. If you miss, you get nothing. It's the Willy Wonka meme. You get nothing. Good day, sir. So you want to make sure all of your hits hit. Notice the lamps. The lamps almost always guide you in the direction of the story path. Now notice this does not have lamps here. If you look there, there's lamps. If you look up there, there are lamps. There is lamps. There are lamps. So if you go this way, you know that this is optional. You can jump to that. We don't need to. I already got it many times before. So if you're ever wondering, okay, which path is the way forward for the story? It's the one with lamps, lanterns, lights, floaty things that look like lamps. Anything that kind of looks like a light that would guide you is the way forward, which is cool. They never tell you that, though. You got to figure that out on your own. Whoops. I'm knocking shit over here. So you can go that way. That's an optional area as well. We have to wait for SK to stop talking. But are we supposed to be able to see him? You can hear him, but I don't see him anywhere. I think the game glitched out because I think he's supposed to show up right here in front of you. And I never saw him show up. That was weird. Alright, we don't need to do anything here. We're not going to be upgrading anymore because all of our characters are 99. Although, you know what? I just realized something that will really help, that may really help us out. I don't know. I wonder... Yes, it just occurred to me. I can redo the levels based on these new weapons I selected for free aim shots. So these are the stats for their best weapons, their in-game weapons, but I switched the weapons out. So let's do a reset. And then what we want to do is max out the two stats that scale. Well, really, normally you want to match the two scaling stats and then agility. You always need agility. Agility is a must. Now, the problem here is that takes our luck way down. So if we do that, you'll notice there's a point of diminishing returns on luck. And I'm thinking... That's a good question. Should we max out luck? Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. I hit the wrong button. Oh, it just maxed it out like that, didn't it? Or did it reset it? What did it just do? Did it max out luck? And then she's got A and S. Or, yeah, I was on a different character. Never mind. That's why I was so confused. So, that'll take us 41% critical. We want to do these as well. That adds to crit. That gives us 75% total, which is fine. But then the question is, you know, we need agility. So we should probably sacrifice one of these damage buffs for agility and max out luck. That's a good question. You need agility for turns. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what would be best in this case. And you want luck for critical rate. You do 20% more damage. Let's try this and see how it goes. We also need to change up the other girls because we have different weapons, so that changes which ones you want to pile your stats into. Luck, vitality, and it's good that that doubled with one we always want maxed out anyway. I always love it when a weapon scales off either agility or luck, because both of those I want 99, regardless of the weapon. And then for Mael, yeah, Mael is the same as her previous weapon. Even though Might does increase damage, it generally isn't worth it compared to doing the agility and luck and then also the other scaling stat. Because luck has such an effect on critical rate, and criticals do so much more damage. And then you always want to max out your agility, because that determines how many times you take a turn versus the enemy. If your enemy has much higher agility than you, they will literally take 5, 7, 10 turns before you get one turn. It's happened to me. I had to look up why some of the enemies towards the end of the game were getting like 7, 8, 9 turns before I had one. And I found out it's because I wasn't upgrading agility. I didn't realize how important agility was. I'd be like, well, Mael gets plenty of turns, but Lune is never getting a turn. Well, that's because Lune's weapon didn't scale on agility, so I didn't put any points in it. Agility is king. If you start this game out new game, stack everything in agility. It may not be the ideal for the new game portion, but it's an easy way to do it. Oh yeah, this is going to be an easy fight. Okay, Lampmaster's no problem. Should be breaking her real soon. I say her, I don't know. Could be a head. Boom, broken. Okay, we have to end our turn, and then there's a little cinematic moment where they kill the boss or something happens here. That's just end the turn. We're wasting time now. They let you keep hitting it, but it doesn't do anything. You have to initiate that cinematic little cutscene there. Although it is rendered, it may be rendered in-game engine, I can't even remember. Oh shit, that was a jump. Sorry, I dodged. I should have seen the obvious signs that it was a jump. You're supposed to hit those things in the order that they light up, but I never do. I'm just gonna hit the boss. Unless it does damage. It does. I think this was the order. I can't remember. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It's not gonna be that important. I've never actually hit them in the proper order. I just focus on damage. Because I was always parrying the attacks anyway, so it didn't matter that the boss launched that special attack. I just parried it. Alright. She should be breaking soon. Hello? Oh. Can't skip a turn while you're in free aim mode. Oh yeah, there we go. There's the break. Getting items that we don't need, can't do anything with because we're maxed out on everything. Oh, it's Renoir. Alright, so the question here is, will this fight go through as normal if we don't do normal attacks? I think so. if we have to do a normal attack to continue this fight, that won't be considered breaking the rules. If anything that requires we use a regular attack to continue, so we'll see. I don't think it will. I think it's just the number of turns you take. You may not even have to actually hit him. This is a scripted fight. You can't defeat him. You'll notice that his health bar isn't changing at all, and his break bar is not increasing. I think you just do a certain amount of damage, and then the story continues. How much? I don't know, but we're doing a lot. That round was... Oh, yeah, look at that. We're into the couple million already, just shooting. And the cool thing about Gustav is he's the only one that has an actual gun. The rest just shoot from their weapon. But they give him a literal gun. Making Gustav the most badass character in the game. Although Gustav has 1 health, so I need to see... Well, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant at this point. I don't need to change anything about his setup. Unless, if it carries over to Verso, then I will need to change it. I don't necessarily want him at 1 health. I don't have any Pictos or Lumina that take advantage of that. We're still going, huh? This guy can take the shots like no one else, huh? You'll also notice he does not fight back. By the way, I saw a mod, or no, I got a Pictos that said you can instantly flee from battle. And that was when I realized there was actually an option to flee from battle. I didn't know that option had ever existed. I never paid that much attention. I never ever thought to flee from a battle. But apparently you can actually flee from battles, normal ones, not bosses. I went into a fight and looked at the bottom of the screen. I was like, yeah, oh yeah, look, sure enough, there's a flee option down there that I never really noticed. Okay, so his health bar does appear to be moving ever so slightly. So I guess we got to get his health down to something here. But it's brutally slow progress. Oh, okay, I think we're good. This is one of the only times I can think of in the game where it naturally transitions from combat into a cutscene. Alright, so clearly we need to get his health to a certain point. Alright. Alright, his turn is coming up. That might be the end when he gets a turn. You notice because of my high agility, I'm getting at least 4 turns before he gets 1. That's agility, my friends. Okay, yeah, that's what does it. I can't skip this cutscene, guys. If you don't want major story spoiler, you should pause the stream, and then I'll post in the chat when it's over. Okay, maybe we can skip the cutscene now. We can, good news. But there may be some moments after this that reveal some stuff, even if I skip all the cutscenes. That's that Final Fantasy style skip cutscene, next cutscene starts, skip cutscene, next cutscene starts, skip cutscene, next cutscene starts. I'm like, hey, can we just skip them all, please? Thank you. I did watch them. They're good. I don't mind. Gustav looks a little different. You'll notice that Gustav looks nothing like he did before. Anyway, this is Verso. Welcome, Verso, to the team, everybody. I think, do we have to talk to the characters? If not, I'm just going to skip it. I feel like I got a mustache hair tickling my nose. Skip cutscene. Start next cutscene. Skip cutscene, start next cutscene. All right, there we go.
Head for the monolith. Through the quarry to the north.
Okay. So, we are getting pretty close to being able to approach the monolith. However, you can't simply get to the monolith right away. Let me see. I don't think it's possible to climb up this thing. No. I don't know if we can get to that version yet. I don't think we can. I like fighting them, but I don't think there's a way to get to him right now. We might need to have flight or come from the other side. A lot of stuff, like you might think, oh, now that I can swim, I can explore everywhere. No, there's still stuff locking you out. The real full world exploration only comes in Act 3 when you get the ability to fly with SGA. Then you can go anywhere.
Careful, Verso.
Wow, he got a turn before any of us. Oops, I dodged way too early. That's interesting. Characters almost never get a turn right away. But then again, that might be a story thing. I think that was story-based. Because we didn't have a chance to approach him first. So that was supposed to be like us being surprised. Alright, it switched us to Verso for story reasons. So we're going to switch back to our ladies only expedition. Expedition Femme Fatale. So this area up here is well known to PC gamers. Probably console as well, though console gamers tend not to notice as much because I'm trying not to be offensive here. I really am not trying to be offensive. I'm just telling you what is. Console performance is often so low or bad that console players don't notice.
A single never.
They're not able to notice the frame rate drops as much because it's normal to them, if that makes sense. PC gamers that are used to 60 plus, when they come into this area, if your game is going to drop frame rate anywhere in the game, it's probably going to be here. And of course, PC gamers notice it because they're very tuned in to getting a better frame rate, whereas console players don't really have a choice and they just become accustomed to bad frame rates. It's normal to them. I'm not saying that's good. It's definitely not good. It's just normal. Yes! Got it all in one turn with my L. I got a lot of procs on that 20% AP return per shot. We just want to make a beeline because the goal is not to defeat everything. The goal is to complete the game. Wow, I thought I was going to get past him. To complete the game, only free aiming. And we probably don't need to free aim every single boss. Definitely not going to free aim Simon. Oh my god. It's possible, but I am not that good at dodging or parrying. I'm good until I hit Simon. Simon's the moment where I realized, hey, I kind of suck at parrying. I thought I was awesome. I was parrying everything in the game almost all the time. Pretty much never dying. And then I encountered Simon, and he kicks my ass. If you ever fight Simon, you'll know what I'm talking about. Dino Storm says, I guess there's a reason I stopped getting consoles. Yeah, I just, I used to have like an Xbox 360. I got a PlayStation 4 because Bloodborne. Just Bloodborne. I got a PlayStation 5 for Demon Souls and Stellar Blade, the Demon Souls remake. But now that Bloodborne can be emulated, I don't need the console for Bloodborne. And now that Stellar Blade's on PC, I don't need it for that. But we still don't have Demon Souls Remake. I want Demon Souls Remake on PC. Where's the demand for that, huh? Nobody's demanding that anymore.
Like
we should demand Demon Souls Remake on PC.
And no sign of your special
It's
level.
money for Sony. And as for all the... No offense to anybody, I have a PlayStation 5. I've had every PlayStation since the first one. I've had the PS1, the PS2, the PS3, the PS4, and the PS5. I've sold all the other ones. My PS5 is currently with a friend of mine He was playing Death Stranding 2 and something else on it. So I don't have it right now. I lent it to him a few months ago. It's like been like 6 or 7 months now. I don't really care. The only thing that PlayStation 5 plays for me now that I can't play on PC is Demon's Souls Remake, because Bloodborne can be emulated. But I will say this. I don't care about these fucking PlayStation fanboys out there talking about, oh, we got this exclusive, it's not on Xbox, it's not on PC. I'm like, it doesn't do you any good, dude. It doesn't hurt you at all if a PC gamer buys a Sony game. It doesn't hurt you at all. It actually helps you. It puts more money in Sony's pocket. It helps Sony make money. Isn't that what you want, you fanboy? Don't you want your fanboy, don't you know, the company you're simping for, don't you want them to get more money? Then put the games on PC. If you're a true Sony simp, you want every Sony exclusive on PC because Sony gets more money. All right, this guy isn't too bad. I thought he might have a shit ton of health and slow us down, but not the case. This looks like this run may be very doable. Like I said, as long as we don't try to fight Simon. Oh yeah, this guy's easy. Break. Alright, we got to go to our third character. We almost took him down with only 2 characters. Although each one had... Oh, wait. You know what? Just skip turn. This is a cinematic moment. There's no point in doing anything else right now. Alright, now the real phase, guys. Oh my goodness, he's even easier! They gave him less health for his second phase? Alright, now we go to the little scripted battle scene. Does it look cool? Yeah, but honestly, if I could give any criticism of this game, it's these moments here. They just don't fit. Like, that's not a move Mael can do. None of this, see this stuff? These aren't their moves. So where's that coming from? Obviously, this is just a, hey, let's make this look cool kind of moment. I don't like those moments. This belongs in Devil May Cry. This belongs in Lost Soul Aside, those flashy character action games. It belongs in Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade's death animations fit with the game. These special little death animations, they don't fit. I absolutely love this game. It is my favorite game of all time, period, end of story. Not even close to any other game. That doesn't fit. I would take that out. But I'm sure there's some people that think it's really awesome. It doesn't impress me. I'm not impressed by that sort of flashy, scripted death animation. But like I said, I think they're cool in Stellar Blade because they fit that game. Stellar Blade is basically a character action game. They would fit in Devil May Cry. They would fit in Lost Soul Aside. They don't fit in Expedition 33. They just feel so out of place. It just pulls me out of the experience when they do that. Thankfully, I think that might be the last time. They do it a few times earlier in the game, and then they pretty much never do it again until maybe like the final 2 bosses or something. And it makes sense if you're going to do one of those for the final boss. I get that, you know, it's the final boss, the last moment. Of course, you're going to do something special for that. But doing that on regular fights, or regular bosses rather, nah. No, thank you. It's just an immersion-breaking experience for me. What do you guys think? Does it break immersion for you? But if you never played this game, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't have the full context. You have to actually be playing the game and watching the cutscenes and really getting into the story to know if it fits or not. But that kind of flashiness, very out of place in my opinion. I do love the lighting in the game. Sometimes it's a bit intense and it blows out details, but it doesn't go super overboard.
This the place.
Gonna skip that real quick. We don't want to see any of that if anyone cares about spoilers, like major spoilers. All right, we're done with that. We're not going to turn around because that'll show a major spoiler. We're just going to look straight forward and keep going. If anyone who's played this, you know what I'm talking about. I know that you're going to see some spoilers to some degree. It's unavoidable, but we're going to avoid them as much as we can. You will notice we have Verso in our team. You will notice somebody's missing from the team. Sometimes characters will part ways or have their own things to do. They may leave the party for a time. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Really, you should play this game. If you have not played this game, it is worth playing. I had access to this for free on PC Game Pass because I was already subscribed. I played it for about 2 hours, and I said, you know what? I want to buy this game. I want to own it. I want to have it on Steam. I want to get achievements. I'm going to max them out. I want to have it in my library permanently as long as, you know, Steam doesn't go down or something.
How far to
And
Monaco Station?
I also want to be able to play it on the Steam Deck because I can't play PC Game Pass games on Steam Deck. And no, I'm not going to... what's that called? Shoot, I can't even think of what it's called. I'm not going to stream the game over the internet and deal with all that bullshit. I want to actually play the game natively on the system, and I did. I used the Steam Deck. I didn't play any new content or new areas I hadn't already discovered. A Lost Gestural, that should be enough now to break those thingies. I didn't go anywhere new that I hadn't already explored on the Steam Deck. I just went back, explored areas I'd already been, and I also used that as an opportunity to grind out levels because I didn't want to experience any new parts of the game that I hadn't seen yet on the Steam Deck because it's just, the Steam Deck is great. I love it. It's just not super powerful, and I didn't want to kind of ruin my experience of the game by seeing it on the tiny screen in lower quality at 30 or 40 FPS.
Follow the tracks.
And I know for a lot of console players that are listening to this, you'll think, well, what's wrong with 30 or 40? I play all my games at 30. Some of them are 60, I know. You know, when you pay for your hardware, when you pay for good hardware, you expect to get the most out of it. I don't have a $1,000 graphics card to play at 30 frames a second, okay? That's why PC gamers get so mad about unoptimized games. We do not buy $600, $800, $1,200, no joke, $2,400 graphics cards. Yes, some people have paid for one. 5090s were at one point, I think, $2,400, $2,300. We're not paying a total of like $1,200 to $3,000 for PC to experience 35 frames a second.
They're real too.
If you pay for the power, you expect to get results from it, and that's fair. And any developer that does not deliver deserves the criticism they get for that, because there's no way in hell even a modern graphically intensive game should not run at least 60 or higher on a $3,000 PC. That's absurd. I'm talking about Borderlands 4, guys. Borderlands 4 performance is absolute shit, and there's no excuse for it. And gamers that paid good money for their systems should expect to get good performance. Oh, he's got some good health. What's interesting is, I wonder if you can fight him with him in your party. Like, can Monoko fight Monoko in New Game Plus? I should have taken him in the party to find out. I usually don't use Monoko because I can never get him to do decent damage. He's the weakest member for me. Maybe I just don't know how to play him right. But he never does even half of what other characters do for me. Roughly. DinoStorm says, there was a 3DS game, a pixel platformer. It ran at 30 FPS. What? Like 2D pixel art? That's absurd. That's got to just be lazy, incompetent programming. Okay, so now we go back, I think. Yeah, it would have been fun to see if you can fight Minoko with Minoko. Okay, just make sure we have the same party. Sometimes it changes your party on you without telling you. And that's not an issue in New Game. Because in New Game, it's usually based... Most of the time, it's based on who's available. But sometimes, even in New Game, it will forcibly change your party based on the story. And it won't change it back to what you had before. So you'll get to a new fight, and you'll be like, what the fuck? Why is this guy in my party? I didn't have him there. Oh, that story-based battle changed my party without my permission. I don't believe in party member changes without consent. Who's with me? We need to push consent for changing party members. Oh yeah, this guy's no problem. He might go down in this round. It just depends on how good I am, or how lucky I get, rather, with the procs. Oh, no. No, we didn't get it. It's all chance, guys. It's random numbers. It's the RNG. It's the RNG god at work here, guys. I will tell you, I didn't know how much of the experience would actually be RNG based. Do I still have the same party? Okay, it's forcibly changing which party member shows while walking, which is kind of weird. All right, where do I go now? Up there, I guess. Donald Strom says, my assumption was it was intentional to make it cinematic. On a 2D pixel platformer, I've never heard them even try to justify shitty 30 FPS on a 2D game as cinematic. If it's a pixel game, it's a 2D pixel game, everything should be able to run that at 60. A freaking cheap cell phone. A cheap cell phone should be running that at 360. All right, I gotta remember where we're supposed to go. Actually, I think we were supposed to take a different route through that, maybe? No, up there. That's right. I'm so used to flying that I keep hitting the button to make him fly. And I'm like, why isn't he flying? Fly, SKA. Oh, yeah, we haven't unlocked that yet. That's why. My guess is they were just being lazy. And they didn't want to bother doing, you know, a few hours of optimization. And 30's good. You know, these console peasants don't care. They're good with 30. Hey, Dino, did you hear about Silent Hill F on the PlayStation 5?
To old Lumiere.
Depending on what mode you're running the game in,
Just Nevrons.
you're not going to believe this if you haven't heard it. Let me show it to you, because this is the thing you have to see to believe. Because when I heard someone say it on X, I thought they were some sort of Xbox fanboy making fun of Sony. There are lots of these platform fanboys. You got your Nintendorks, your Nintendrones, your Xbots, your PlayStation ponies, PS simps. You really can't simp for PC because it's a bunch of different hardware from a bunch of different companies. There's no, like, one PC company. I mean, I guess you could kind of simp for, like, NVIDIA versus AMD, but I don't really see that, to be honest. There are some people who definitely prefer it, but I think for the most part, there isn't a lot of simping going on for PC component manufacturers. Because, you know, your system ends up having components from multiple different manufacturers. You'll have, you know, a chipset made by NVIDIA, but the actual graphics card itself is built by, like, Asus or Gigabyte. And then your motherboard might be either Gigabyte or Asus or something. Maybe you have a Zotac graphics card or an EVGA card or something. Oh, I think EVGA got out of the business. Let's see. I think I saved it here. I'm going to show you in a moment. There we go. We have to zoom in. This is just... Dino, this and everyone else that's here, chime in, please. I want you guys to see this. Okay. we've got quality mode 2160p, so 4K, is upscaled from 720 to 30 with 30 frames a second. That's garbage, but that's the garbage we're used to. It's not shocking because it's the normal bullshit we're used to. Why the PS5 has to go all the way down to 720p to run that game and then it just upscales it? You tell me the PS5 is powerful and it's fucking upscaling from 720p? That's embarrassing, man. That's a freaking embarrassing. Got the same thing over here for the PS5 Pro, except it upscales from 720p to reach 60 frames a second. The shocker here, the real shocker here, blows my mind. You ready for this? PS5 Pro performance mode to get 60. Performance mode at 1800p. Did they mean 1080? Maybe they meant 1080. I'm not sure on that. But anyway, it says 1800p. I'm pretty sure they mean 1080. I've never heard of 1800p. I don't think that exists really, but whatever. Upscaled from 720p to 360. Yeah. You're looking at that right. Depending on what's happening in the game, your 60 frames a second, 1080p PlayStation 5 playing Silent Hill F, which stands for fail, in performance mode, is upscaling from 360p. I literally laughed when somebody made this comment on X. And I thought to myself, dude, that's stupid. No one's going to believe it's upscaling. It's a PlayStation 5. It's not upscaling from 360p. That's unthinkable. That's stupid. No one's going to believe your dumb comment. You must be some Xbox fanboy. And then I saw other people talking about it. I'm like, no way is this true. This cannot be true. It's true. Your PlayStation 5, think how much that cost, okay? To get 1080p 60 frames a second, has to drop the base resolution of the game to 360p. A number that when it comes to game resolutions, we haven't seen in a long fucking time. 360p is lower than what you would play your Xbox 360 games at. 360p is lower than the original Xbox. The PlayStation 2 was doing more than 360p. We've gone back 15, 20 years or more to get as low as 360p. When you see 360p on a video on YouTube, you know you've gone back in time. That's an old-ass video. And it's a shitty resolution nowadays. It's low quality. It's going to look terrible on your screen. But this is what they're doing because they have upscaling. And if you look at it, honestly, look at that. It looks like a blurry fucking mess. Look at all that shit. Look at all those artifacts around the power lines. Look at how all of this just becomes a muddy blur. What the hell is that? It just looks like a pixelated mess. This is an absolute, unbelievable embarrassment. Yeah, they can go down to 240p. Just AI upscale an old Nintendo game to 1080, 60 frames. You know, Nintendo was running at either 60 or 59 frames per second, depending on whether you were in what region of the world you were in. Because, you know, there's the European standard of 59 hertz. But in North America, we use 60 hertz TVs. And I think Japan was also 60 hertz TVs. Back when games were just played on TVs. They're really... You didn't play a console on a monitor. There was no way to hook it up. You couldn't do it. Nowadays, you can play on your console on a TV or monitor. You can play on your PC on a TV or monitor. Either one. Mind blown. Never thought I'd see 360p again from a modern system. Never in a million years. I would have laughed at you if you said there's a future game coming up on a current gen console that's going to run at 360p. I wouldn't even think the Switch 2 would run that low. What a joke. What an absolute joke. And I own a PlayStation 5. My gosh. What in the hell are these developers doing? What's wrong? What is going on? Is this even the real world anymore? It's like, have I fallen asleep and I'm having a nightmare about games running at resolutions that the Super Nintendo would laugh at? The Super Nintendo go, hey, welcome. Welcome to the Super Nintendo. We're running at similar resolutions. PS5,
Friends,
you and me.
I beg your forgiveness.
Think about that. The freaking Super Nintendo talking to the PS5 saying, hey, we're the same. Not quite, not exactly, but my gosh. This shit is just out of control. Let's see. I think we go this way. We don't need to fight those lunatics. Those are left-wing wokies. We have to avoid them. They're just gonna call us
piece of Lumiere end up on an island when the rest of the city is
Nazis
here?
One of the
from
great
a
mysteries.
certain German World War II
I
political
wish I
party.
had more time. There's so much to study.
Hey, look, it's a gooner! Ah, fuck you. Fuck you, Wokey. How dare you put an attractive
So,
girl mod in your
Monaco.
game?
What was life
I can't
like
believe
before
you
the
would do
fracture?
that. You know, the craziest thing is, I'd like to ask the Wokies, like,
Cozier,
why would you even care
livelier.
if a PC gamer mods in an attractive character in a game? Like,
The
what
fractured
does that
torn
matter to
edges
you?
apart.
What effect does it have on you?
fraction of
Why
the
the fuck would you
fraction
even
survived.
care? There are people out there modding all sorts of shits in there. I don't care. It doesn't affect me at all. I don't even have to see it. It doesn't affect me. None. Zero. So why do these wokies care so much? I'll tell you why. Control. They want control. They don't want you to have the freedom to play the way you want to play. They want to control how you can play. That's what it's about. They want to control all aspects of society. That means they want to control what kind of games you can play and what can be in your games. That's the problem. I'm not trying to control what can be in their games. Look, if you want to play Expedition 33 and put that absolute mentally ill, insane futa stuff in there where you put male genitals on females, I guess you can. I think it's disgusting and weird.
Above a bakery near the
I think there's
centre.
probably something wrong with you mentally,
Angela
legitimately
Laundry.
wrong with you
I
mentally.
hate that.
If you're putting male genitals on a woman,
Every morning.
I think you really need to reevaluate your life and go get that
It's
shit
cool in the
fixed.
fields now.
But, I
When this
mean,
is over,
I'm not going to try to
You should
ban
go
it or
visit.
stop them. I mean, I'm not here to control people's lives. They are here to control your lives. That's why they get so mad at Stellar Blade. Because you don't need a mod.
I never said that was treasure.
You could see that on your regular old PlayStation 5. And it makes them furious. They want to stop it. You can't play your game that way. Wait, these guys just ignore me? Oh. You have to fight them.
the dance
All right.
begins.
Dinostorm says, oh yes, NTSC PAL. You can really tell with anime, the 24, 25 FPS, the audio's a tiny bit pitched up and the episode's a tiny bit shorter. Yeah, it actually affects the length. Because although the amount of frames per second doesn't change the number of seconds, it does change if you're only rendering out that many frames total to be seen in total. I don't know if that makes sense. Then you do get fewer frames overall, and it's all kind of in the same package like that, then yeah, it does matter. But in terms of if you're playing this game, you could play this game at 30 frames a second, you can play it at 240 frames a second. It's going to take the same amount of time. It's just the number of frames that occur during each second. Whoops. Whoops. I'm going into menus I shouldn't go in. The cat is in here, begging for food and knocking shit off the desk. If you're wondering why Verso's in the party got separated during the cutscene, but we skipped it. Nacho! Nacho, come here, buddy. He's not coming. You know cats, they only come if they want to. I have a cat named Nacho, and the other one's named Cheese. They're both orange.
So,
I didn't choose them. They were thrust upon me.
I need to find Lune and Ciel quickly.
All right, now we start with Mael. And then we'll switch over to the other team afterwards. So this is a point in the game where it forcibly splits you into two separate teams, although you don't work in tandem. It's not like Final Fantasy VI where you split up into two parties and then you have to work together. Yeah, fuck that item. We already have it. That's a waste of time. By the way, if you look at everything in the environment, you will see some stuff that actually makes sense as to why it's there. There's a lot in this game to notice. Yeah, Dino Storm, exactly. Nobody needs to be reminded, but it's good to know there's some really fucked up stuff out there that people are into. I'm just saying, if you're that far away from nature and biology, something's wrong. Like, if you're installing the mod to put feet on Lune's hands, and yes, this mod exists, it gives Lune feet for hands, your obsession with feet has gone too far. Unless you're just doing it as a joke to be stupid. But, yeah. If you're installing a mod to make a female character's head a giant foot, because that excites you, you've gone a little too far. You need to back away. You need to lay off the feet. Oh, we'll watch this cutscene briefly. For reasons. Unfortunately, they blurred her out for half of that. By the way, anyone that's wondering who watches this now or is watching this later and getting all up in a tizzy, get their panties twisted up over the fact that Mael, canonically in the game, is 16. The character you're seeing me play as is not Mael. Mael is completely replaced with 2B. It's not Mael's body. It's not Mael's head or face. And if you get mad, go, oh, it's still Mael's voice and words. Yeah, well, that's from Jennifer English. She's a 30-something-year-old woman voicing her. So nothing about this character is underaged at this point. Nothing. But people get worked up over this shit. I got a tweet with just under 10,000 likes. With I don't know how many hundreds of quote tweets and responses from these projecting wokies saying that it's PDF to use this Mael mod. They don't realize it's a replacement. Anyone that gets worked up over it is probably projecting their own problem. One of the best songs in the game right here. There's a lyrical version too. Whoops, I missed a few of those. That ended it. I gotta make sure my shots connect. He shouldn't be too tough. I'm pretty good at dodging and parrying him, but we're gonna have to dodge because we don't want to counterattack. We're doing only shots. And if we parry all the attacks, we'll end up doing a counterattack, and that's against the rules. They forcibly include Verso in the party, which is fine. I've already spec'd him out. Even Minoko is spec'd out, although I don't ever plan on using him. But I wanted to make sure everyone is spec'd out for this, in case I end up with a character by force, by story, in case my characters died and I had to bring in the reserves. Boy, these cutscenes take on a whole different atmosphere with these mods installed, don't they? That's why you should not play this for the first time with these character mods. It will really hurt the experience. I'm legit serious. Don't. Play the normal way with the characters looking normal the first time you play it. Otherwise, you will ruin your experience. It's just not worth it. I am not so much the vanguard of the Gooning Brigade that I goon my way through games the first time through. Now, if it's a game like Stellar Blade, yeah, sure, that's part of the game. But if it's a game like this, I would not ruin it with some Gooner mods my first time through. That would be an absolute shame. You can. I'm not going to stop you. It's just my suggestion. Unlike the wokies out here, the radical lefties, I'm not going to tell you what you can't do. I'm just going to tell you what I don't think you should do for your own sake. Like, I wouldn't ban those disgusting Futa mods, but damn, if I ever did want to ban something, that would be it. Okay. So, by the way, you're supposed to go to these 2 axons. This is one of them. You can, however, try to go straight to the monolith, even though you're told you can't go there. By the way, if you see that flickering in the corner in the distance, the only reason that's visible is because of my mod disabling some of the fog. Normally you wouldn't see it. So that's not part of the normal game without mods. So Sandfall is not to blame for that. Watch this special cutscene that most people don't see, because you wouldn't think to go where you're told you can't.
This looks similar to
That deserves a screenshot.
Maybe we can just cross it.
Yeah, sure.
Lune's like, yeah, let's just try it anyway. We don't need that special weapon to get through this. I love how Verso finds it funny.
I'm telling you, we can't. Axons first. It's okay. You'll be fine. You want to try again?
I'm okay.
I love that one. I love that line. He's like, you want to try that again? This is basically Lune thinking she knows better, because she's very bullheaded. Although I will say none of the female characters are girl-bossed, which is awesome. You'll notice that they all carry themselves in a feminine manner. They stand in a feminine manner. They don't... They have not been subjected to that woke bullshit where they stand and walk and act like men. And that's something I don't think people have really addressed in videos. I should probably do a video on that, because as much as the anti-woke crowd talks about everything, and I feel like my videos would just get lost in the fray, I haven't seen anyone release a video detailing the fact that so many of these female characters, even if they look female, they don't act like it. They don't walk like it. They don't stand like it. They carry themselves, their gait, their stature, their posture is very mannish. In an equal way, in some cases, the way male characters kind of carry themselves can be effeminate, and that's very intentional. That is being done as part of this DEI woke ESG agenda, to make men act more like women and women act more like men. And for example, if you see Lune here,
Are those?
you see Mael back there, look how Mael's standing.
An infinite sea of them.
Men don't stand like that. Women stand like that. CL will do some of the same things, but just slightly differently. You see CL's movements right there? She's in the bunny outfit. A feminine way of kind of moving, stretching your body. Lune's doing some basic stuff right now, nothing like gender specific, but CL is putting her hands on her lower back, we'll call it. A very feminine way of... Oh, look at this. Look at that. Standing and acting like a woman. It's sad that that's rare nowadays in a game, in a movie, in a TV show. It's such a simple thing that you don't think about, but there are people out there thinking about it, and they're very actively trying to make sure that the female characters don't act feminine. Whether it's a movie, a TV show. See that flickering right there? Again, all the visual mods I installed, it's not perfect. It does generate some issues, but overall I think it's okay. I like it better than having all that extra fog and whatnot. But just know that if you do see some little visual glitches, those are the mods I installed, and it's not the game. So don't think that from software. Don't think that Sandfall messed up. It's not their fault. The developer is never responsible for issues with mods that PC gamers install, especially when they don't support mods. Sandfall has not given any official mod support. Nothing about this game officially supports mods. The only reason it can be modded is just most games can be modded one way or another, and that you're able to use the default sort of I think that's the way to go, right? Yeah. We're gonna skip the 2 optional fights because it just takes longer and we don't need to do them. I think we can take this boss on with the other masks alive. You can mod UE5 in the same way, no matter what UE5 game it is. You just go into the content data folders. You find a folder that says PAKS, P-A-K-S. You go in there and you create a subfolder. That's the tilde symbol mods. And you just drop them in there. And as long as those mods are designed for UE5, they generally will work. That's not something the developer has to do. It's just a default for Unreal Engine 5. So the good news is, if they're using Unreal Engine 5, there are lots of modders out there that know how to create mods for it already. Now, the problem with these custom game engines, even though sometimes they're better, they're customized specifically for what the developer needs. They don't have a standard modding format. So, for example, Squaresoft with Final Fantasy 16, if you want to mod that game, you need to download a special mod loader, and then you have to set it up, and it takes a while. It's a complicated process, and it's easy to mess it up, and it's easy to think you've got it set up and it doesn't work. So if you see that stuff in the distance there, this is one of the worst areas for this mod I have installed, because all of that red, most of that ground, you would not be able to see. The fog would block that. But because there's no fog, you can see what you're not supposed to see, and it's not all fleshed out. It's not all drawn out, because, like I said, you wouldn't see it, so they wouldn't have to draw it. Sandfall shouldn't be drawing out stuff that normally wouldn't be visible. That would be a waste of resources and processing power. But I played through the game several times with the fog effect, so I know what it should look like. Alright, this is going to be a harder fight because we did not defeat the 3 masks. They even tell you have the option, like one of the characters acknowledges you can go defeat the masks, or you can go straight to the boss. If you go straight to the boss will have 3 special moves from the 3 different masks that make the fight much harder. It wasn't normally a problem for me, but this is a free aim shots only run, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully not bad. In this case, you actually don't shoot this thing. Let me show you. I'm pretty sure if we shoot it, it'll do nothing. Watch. That's not the target. You have to shoot this mirror. So my mother-in-law was over visiting while I was playing this segment. And yeah, I take these mods off when she's here, okay? I don't use these mods when she's here. We'll see you later, Dino Storm. And she commented that it sounded like opera music. And she told my wife, she's like, it doesn't sound like video game music. Which I guess to someone that doesn't play modern games, they think of video game music as bleeps and bloops and, you know, something that sounds like traditional video game music. Things have changed a lot. Video game music nowadays can be anything. Some games have real songs, like GTA. I hate GTA, but a lot of people love it. That'll have actual songs, you know, pop songs in it. All right, we got him almost half. And this is definitely a him. Whoops, that was a jump and I dodged. Alright, take that, mirror. When the faces appear, there is a weak spot on it that you can shoot. The faces will pop out of the mirror and there'll be one little spot. I already shot it. If you see the weak spot, you always want to hit it. Always. You get super damage and it often negates some ability of theirs. In certain cases, hitting a special weak spot will disable something they put on you. Like if they cast Curse on you, you are guaranteed to die in a certain number of turns. There's no way to not die, unless sometimes you end up like shooting something on the enemy or shooting some thingies floating by, and then it either cancels the curse or extends it. So sometimes shooting is more utility than damage. Okay. I can't remember if this boss has a second phase. I think, yeah. I thought so. The true Mask Keeper. That other thing, that wasn't the Mask Keeper. This is. Okay, so you do get more damage by hitting it in the head. Oops, I accidentally took a screenshot right there. Reaching over to silence my phone there. I get a lot more damage for hitting the head. Well, do I? 22, 160, 33. It's, what, about 50% more? Oh, we're out. You like that angle for shooting, guys? Is that a good angle for shooting? Alright, that was her first turn. She gets a second turn because of the cheater. Lumina. Or Pictos. Oh wait, she's got two more. Sometimes it kicks me out because the ability that procs to give me more AP occurs after the game determines you ran out of AP. So the game determines you ran out of AP, kicks you out of free aim, and then the ability procs gives you the 2 points, so then you can go back into free aim. So I guess they got the order wrong there, but they probably never anticipated you to be firing that quickly all the time. So it really wouldn't be an issue in a regular playthrough like it is here. But even shooting slowly, it can do it. I've noticed it has done it before in a regular playthrough. Yep, we still get a bonus. Slows us down just a bit, but it might be worth it for the extra damage. I think it's worth it. I can actually shoot a little faster. I just gotta keep up a rhythm to make sure that his head comes back in time. This kind of changes things. We actually have to care about aiming and where we're aiming and the timing and the movement of the enemy. It turns it into a very awkward first-person shooter. Or, not first-person, third-person shooter. Not on fun, just different. Very different. I don't think on fun is a word, by the way. Please don't use it thinking it's a word without looking it up. Alright, that was so much easier than I thought it'd be. He didn't even get a chance to do anything. Although it counted as damage received because of the first phase. So if we had just jumped that like we were supposed to, that would have been a no damage fight. But I screwed it up. I should have known better. I saw the jump thingy and just dodged anyway. Lots of cutscenes. Oh, okay. You know, when I'm playing this game, I can really lose track of time. We are at 3 hours and 38 minutes. That's the longest stream I've had in a long time. I think it's probably time to call it. Dino ducked out. I know there's 1 or 2 other people still holding out in this nearly, well, over 3.5 hour stream. But this, I think, would be a good time to end this stream, and we'll continue this playthrough later. It's not actually going to take us much longer. And New Game Plus, if you know what you're doing and where to go, you can kind of push through the game pretty quickly. Probably about maybe another 4 to 5 hours would get us through it, skipping all the optional content. But we're going to do some of it, so maybe 5, 6 hours, 7. I don't know. Depends on how much optional stuff we decide to do. We're going to dip out of there so you get to see that silly looking thumbnail. And I did the soy face in the corner there just to see if I could get some more views. So what I'll do is I'll get rid of me for a second. You can see I did soy face. I call it soy face anytime a guy does that facial expression with their mouth hanging open in surprise. It became a big YouTube trend, and I absolutely hated it. And I think the official term for it on the internet is soy face. Anyway, thanks to everyone that joined. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We got some new subscribers today, at least one for sure. I don't always get the notifications coming up. I'm going to look into why, but we did get at least that one notification from Cosmo. We saw that. That's always cool. And again, we're going to continue this till the end. Soon. When? I'm not sure. Tomorrow, we're probably going back to Bloodborne on PC. I think that's what people expect. And then if I get a chance to do another extra stream this week, it'll be Expedition 33. Again, thanks everyone for joining me. I'm Fox with the G3 Brigade. Gaming, Grifting, and Gooning, the Vanguard